Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good. Block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown.
Into your hands, a plan your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour, take a cold shower, scream until you're louder, work until you're prouder, and f*** all the doubters, they're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm off, it's these fucking clowns who were all taught they deserve it now. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Good flipping morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of KP's Fantasy Football Talk here at the Fins Tailgate, aka TFTG. You know us, you love us. You're hitting the like button already. Some quick words, some housekeeping to do real quick. Everybody make sure you're hitting the like button. Make sure you're sharing this video. I'm going to bring today's host up momentarily. He's chomping at the bit to get talking about the league. And make sure you're subscribing to the Fins Tailgate, hitting the notification bell, that little thing that looks like a bell. Click it so that you're getting all notifications for when we go live. Make sure you're going over to TFTGnetwork.com, bookmark it, make it your homepage. It is your centralized location to all things at the Fins Tailgate, all the Miami Dolphins talk, all of the league-wide talk. You got El Capitan, you got myself, Color. Of course, you got Ali, who will be back with Top of the Tailgate. He's had some issues to deal with at home, and he is clearing that up. Prayers out to Ali. And, of course, you got Shake Money with the Drive Time and the Smoke Lounge coming at you at least twice a week. And, of course, Lewis, the Rabid Dolphin, fresh back from Vegas, fresh back from a trip that we're not allowed to talk anything about because it's Vegas. I'm sure he had a great time. And, of course, you know him, you love him, KP. He's in back waiting to bring up the talk about the fantasy league. And that comes at you every Saturday, right about now, 11 o'clock. A little late this morning. I had some technical difficulties, but we got it rectified and we're going. And of course, crypto twice a week. Mondays, Thursdays. Bringing it to you from a whole different angle. And of course, DOG Tonk for TMI Tuesdays, hitting you every Tuesday night at 9:30. And if you'd like to support the channel, hit us up on Cash App, $ the Fins Tailgate, or Venmo the Fins Tailgate. As well, you can use Super Chats. They're all live. Super Stickers and memberships. We got one member in the chat so far, but I have to say hi to Adam Padilla first, the first one in chat. Flipside Fishing, Nene, Natisha Robinson, Frederick Dunlap. That's Fred. You all know him. And now I can get to the member in the chat. Michael K., resident Buffalo fan. He'll probably text me later and say, you should have talked about me first. I'm a paying member. But you're still a Buffalo fan. No, he hasn't caused any problems in the locker room yet, Michael K. He's not Stephon Diggs. Anyway, make sure you're getting over to TFTGnetwork.com. Check out the TFTG shop. Also, check out all of our partners here at the Fins Tailgate. Fanatics, your official place to go for all officially licensed gear from the NFL, NHL, NBA, MLS, MLB. Playoffs are going on in the MLB right now. If you're into baseball, get your gear over at Fanatics. Use the link in the description below so they know we sent you. And after you're done getting your mini helmet or your full helmet, take it over to Backroom Collection and have them customize it for you. Have them customize your office space, man cave space, walls, whatever. They got some great artwork over there, custom memorabilia, all of it. Husband and wife team, small business. Use TFTG at checkout for 10% off. Also over at Dubby to keep you up doing all that shopping. Dubby energy drinks, all smash, no crash. Shake Money has reviewed the starter pack with the variety of flavors. And so check out his videos and you can find out what he thinks about them. Get the dub with Dubby. Link in the description below, and also use TFTG at checkout for 10% off. The link itself will also do that for you. But if you forget, you can still use TFTG. And then go get a TFTG flag. Fly it high. And this is the flag you can locate on Sundays at Hard Rock. Near 199th on the yellow side. Right at the edge of 199th. Ali will be flying this flag. So you can know where to find the Fins tailgate at Hard Rock. Like tomorrow when we face the Giants. So as long as I haven't forgotten to shout out anybody or any of the housekeeping, I do want to also say, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I was going to say, dang, wrong account. Did we have another Kahari? Wow. That must be the backup computer. All right. So without further ado, I don't think there's any news to get to other than the Miami Dolphins trading for Chase Claypool. Snatching him from the Bears for a late round draft swap. We gave him a 6th round for their 7th and Claypool. So we'll see if we can get him involved going forward in the offense. He's a big dude. Needs to probably rehabilitate his career a little bit. Nobody's going to let him be a problem in our locker room. So I think it's a great signing. It's fine. Great trade. It'll work. If it don't, it don't. We didn't lose much to get it done. So that'll be fine. Make sure you're hitting the like button. As I said, we got 20 of you watching at the moment. Make sure you're all hitting the like button. And without further ado, here is today's show host. You love him, Kahari P, a.k.a. KP. How's it going, man?
Yo, what's up? What's up? Happy Fantasy Football Week 5, y'all. What's going on, Color?
Oh, not much. I hope not too many people were dissatisfied with that had a lot of Miami Dolphins on their lineups last week. We obviously didn't quite produce on offense that we did the week before, but that was probably to be expected.
But for all those fans who may have been, momentarily disappointed, I think the medicine arrives this week when it comes to the fantasy football output of our very own hometown 305 Miami Dolphins. The New York Giants look like medicine to me, man. They look like manna from heaven. Mm-hmm. They look like barbecue ribs soaked and cooked slow, ready to be devoured.
And scoring 11 points per game. I mean, look, even if they do get right on us, can they keep up?
Yeah.
I mean, getting right is much different from keeping up with our offense. You know what I mean?
If they decide to try to compete, it's going to be worse for them. Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely, because we'll just keep putting a pedal on, putting down the pedal.
Exactly. And listen, after last week's disappointment, any coach worth their marble, any halfway decent coach is going to have our boys primed up and ready to get back this weekend, no matter who the opponent was going to be, right? Exactly. It just so happens that the New York Giants look malleable, look ready to be had. They're the boxer teetering on his feet, but already halfway knocked out. We just need to finish them off this weekend. And I'm looking for that to happen just as a Dolphin fan. But when it comes to fantasy football, Tyreek is hungry to get back on his 2,000-yard quest, right? Tua, right, has put up a couple average performances when it comes to the statistics, right? He's ready to have his name back in the MVP talk, right? Waddle, fresh off of injury, is going to be hungry to take everything he can to the house, given whatever touches are coming his way. And now you got a new big dog in the stable in terms of Chase Claypool, who we can probably, maybe not this week, although, I wouldn't be surprised if we mix him in. He has a small package of plays in the red zone. As a red zone target, I mean, he fits the description. 6'4" and 1/4, 240 pounds walking, right? And running a 4.4 something with I don't know what the vertical is, and he's been a productive receiver at times in this league. I see a guy like him coming in and making our attack just even more multi-dimensional, even more dangerous. As far as a fantasy perspective goes, even if I wasn't a Dolphin fan, I have to look at the Miami Dolphins this week as just one of the best plays out there, whether I'm talking about daily fantasy football or if you got some players in your weekly fantasy lineups. This is the week all Dolphins go. So what do you think about that, Color?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. I mean, obviously, people expect 70, but I mean, come on, it's still got to be a football game played, you know what I mean? But yeah, at some point, I just can't see how we don't start running away with it at some point. They're still questionable about Saquon.
Right.
The quarterback can't throw the ball to save his life.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. I just don't, even if they were to get right on us, what would that mean for them? 28 points?
Well, exactly. See, there it is. I was going to settle on that number as well. Like, for me, the number is inconsequential as much as I want our team to show dominance. And that can only be done through, big time performances from big time players. Mm-hmm. So if you got a big time player in your lineup from the Miami Dolphins, you should expect them to perform this week. I mean,
absolutely.
With no reservation.
As a fan, we should expect that.
Yeah, I mean, as fans, we always expect that, of course. But this week looks particularly juicy.
And I don't buy a trap. A trap would mean they score 28 on us and we still win 42-28.
Exactly. Now, as far as the rest of the league goes, there are some other intriguing matchups that look to be fantasy rich as well. If I'm looking around the league, I'm looking at maybe even tomorrow morning's Jaguars versus Bills contest. I mean, we saw what them goddamn evil, crappy ass, ugly Bills could do last week, and we gotta make some plans on how we're gonna deal with them at home in the comeback later on in the season. But that Jaguars matchup, for me, I know with the trek across the Atlantic that the full data set on whether blowouts can occur in England or not is not fully set, but I think that this game under normal circumstances might have some fireworks pending. And then you got to look at other matchups like the Minnesota Chiefs matchup tomorrow at 4:30. That has blowout fantasy points, a glow written all over it as well. And then a third matchup, and this may be a bit of a sleeper that I think has a lot of fantasy potential, is that Bengals versus Cardinals game. I think that there may be an offensive explosion heading our way from those two struggling franchises at this stage. And that's a shock to say about the Cincinnati Bengals, who are a lot of people's favorites coming into the season, but they just haven't gotten things going. But I think that they may be ripe for an explosion, a Chicago Bears-like explosion, for lack of better words, because, man, that Chicago team for the last 2 weeks has certainly upped the accelerator in terms of its fantasy output. I don't know if you caught any of that Chicago game, Color.
A very little bit of it.
Okay, well, Justin Fields is back. DJ Moore has been dominant. He put up more than 200 yards and 3 touchdowns down on the Commanders on Thursday night. So, if any of you guys out there have DJ Moore in your lineups, hopefully you had him in the starting lineup because, man, he sure enough paid off. He probably guaranteed you a victory in weekly fantasy football this week. And, if you had him on a Thursday night DFS lineup, then, you'd be close to the winners. Let's just put it that way. He had a monster performance. So Chicago got its first win, but even more impressive for them, I mean, since their playoff hopes are probably, pretty much gone, but they have shown the promise that a lot of people saw in them in the offseason in terms of being able to be a high-performing, potent offense capable of attacking from multiple dimensions. Fields in the air with his wide receiver core, and then Khalil Herbert coming alive before his ankle injury took him out of that contest. He was well on his way to 100 yards before he got hurt. So that Chicago team is one to keep an eye on, fantasy football managers. If you're looking for pickups, looking for trade possibilities. I know Justin Fields was a darling early round quarterback to draft, and he was kind of disappointing in the first 3 weeks. Well, if that was you, it certainly has paid off now in terms of the last 2 weeks production we're seeing from Justin Fields. So, your thinking was right if you drafted him. And now it's just time to ride that cowboy all the way through, or ride that bear, actually, which is kind of, oh no, bears ride human. I'm talking about the Leonardo DiCaprio movie where that bear, the Revenant. Oh, hold on, my mind's just going crazy. Let's get back to fantasy football. Color man. As far as the fantasy football goes, though, a couple big blockbuster issues we got to talk about. I don't know if you guys out there want to talk about it when we open up the phone lines too, but what's going to be the Jonathan Taylor effect? Does he play this week? Zach Moss, South Florida's own, has shown to be an NFL competent, capable, productive running back in that Indianapolis setup. But now we got, in my mind, one of the top 3 running backs entering back into play. Will he get traded? Will he stay and compete in Indianapolis? We got that Jonathan Taylor issue as well. How does that shake up the fantasy landscape? And then the news out of Arizona that more than likely Kyler Murray has seen his last days there. That's a seismic shift for that franchise. As for the last 4 to 5 years, everything was built around Kyler Murray and that unique offensive approach with him at the helm. Where does he land? Does that happen this year, or are we going to wait until next season? How's that going to shake up the NFL landscape and the fantasy football landscape going forward? So couple talking points. I don't know what you guys' opinions are on that. But when we open up the lines, I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions on where the NFL is going and where the fantasy football season is going from a league-wide perspective. But some of you are here. I know we got Flipside in the chat. Big up to you, Adam Padilla, in the chat. We got some of our TFTG fantasy football managers here, ready for their expose, ready for their time in the sunshine. So I don't know, Color, if you're ready, we can go into the league talk.
Sure thing.
Talk. Okay, all right. Let me see if I can grab control of the screen here.
All righty.
1 second. Boom, because I am on my backup computer, so everything is off for me right now. All right. Here we're looking at our TFTG Dolphins League. And then for those just turning in, Nene, I saw you in the chat. Big up to you as always. Wish I could have got you in here on this league this season. I would have loved to have another spanking victim on a weekly basis. Yeah, we'd be spanking you too, Nene. Oh, no offense. You know what I'm saying? Just joking. But anyway, if we're looking at our TFTG Dolphins League, we have had some shifting in the standings. Let's start there. Okay, 1 second. Let me get the screen set up for the full standings. Okay, so let's see where we are, where the league shakes out. No pun intended. Big up to Shake Money. I think he might be picking up crypto now. I think crypto is flying into Miami today. So hopefully those two brothers get together and we'll see them at the tailgate.
Oh yeah, I got the word crypto has landed in Miami.
Yeah,
About
yeah.
30 minutes ago.
Oh, okay, yeah. So hey, cryptonomics in Miami, yo. Big occasion. All right, so here we have the standings in the league going into week 5. And hey, we got Bryson's top of the hill on top of the actual factual league. So Bryson, well done with a 3-1 record. Okay, Rizzler of Oz, that's Adam Padilla squad in the second spot. We've got Miss Finn's My Skills Get Sexy in the third spot. And then your very own, yours truly, Demon Dolphin, suffered his first loss to crypto this week, which was, just, I don't know if mentally I've recovered from that fact. But yeah, push me down to 4th. And then we have Brian Mitchell's Ball So Hard rounding out the top 5, which really, there's a tie at the top spot, point differential, that kind of thing. Made the difference in the rankings. And then there's a nice little neat feature here. If you look to the right, playoff percentage, where based on the records and rosters as they stand at this moment, we see the likelihood of making the playoffs from this point, and we see Bryson's team with a 70% playoff probability. I always like these probability stats to monitor how they change over the season. I think it's a pretty cool feature. But most of the league, if we scroll down just for a quick view, is at 500 in in a 2-2 zone at this stage. Team Greg at the 6th spot. Guardians of the End Zone, in it to win it. Jags Junkie, that's Roach's team. Newfoundland, Team Latino, that's Andres Negron's team. And then flip side, you still got a shot, man. You're in it at 500, buddy. Moss at 500. I could see the light. El Capitan, okay, the owner and operator of the TFTG, the founder of the TFTG, he's in it to win it at 2-2. McGritty's as well. And then we look at the bottom of the league, where Team Crypto got his first win against yours truly. Can't believe I said that.
Kahari.
Yeah, man.
Really?
Listen, somebody traded him Russell Wilson, and we agreed that all he needed was a quarterback, and his team would be highly competitive.
Well,
just so happened that
no worries, KP. We can fix this, man.
Well, yeah. We're goddamn right. We're gonna fix it. That can't happen again. But anyway, Team Crypto got his first win. Then we got Ali. Peace to Ali and his family, and hope to see him back on the TFTG soon. With 1 victory, 3 losses. Team Stream and Red Ants Nation, the Miami Reggae DJs, are doing very poorly with 1 win between them. So if they're out there listening, Israel, Wagwan, my youth, and DJ Chip Fresh at 0-4 in our league. All right, so standings aside, let's go into this week's matchups. Let's go back to the league home. All right, let's go to our matchups over here. In fact, with the big Thursday night game, some people have already enjoyed some major point production from their squad. So let's take a quick look at the full scoreboard. What is this? Legal restrictions. What is this nonsense? Was the article helpful? No. I don't even know why I'm looking at you. Okay. What is this nonsense? All right, hold on 1 second. Let me get this straightened out, and then we'll come back to it.
No problem.
I don't know what this is or how this thing popped up on us. Okay. I just want to see the matchups.
Dang, legal restrictions.
Yeah. What are you restricting, buddy? Come on, man. I just want to look at. Okay, here we go. All right. And I know you guys want to call in and get into the mix. So let's do this quick fire style as we jet through the matchups this week. And And then I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what you're thinking about, what your strategies are going forward, how you're handling the changing dynamics in the NFL and fantasy football season. So here we go. Okay. We've got top of the hill and flip side in a grudge match right off the top, with Flip enjoying 12 points of production from Khalil Herbert, which is quite a shame because Khalil Herbert was, if you watch the Thursday night game, and I did watch it from beginning to end, Herbert was poised and ready and productive. He had ripped off a 40-yard run. He was about to add a touchdown and have a 100-yard game for sure. So that production from Flip should have been in the 20s at the bare minimum. But he's right now currently on top of Bryson's team, which is in the first spot, who got 8 points of production from Terry McLaurin. Quite indifferent, middling performance. But Bryson's team is well balanced throughout his roster, and so we'll see what happens in the remainder of their matchup. Now my computer goes crazy on me. All right, so hopefully I didn't get anybody dizzy out there. Hold on, let's go back to matchup number 2. All right, okay, let's try this. Okay, in our second matchup, we've got Brian Mitchell's Ball So Hard tied for first, but actually in fifth, with 9.5 points of production from one of his defensive players, Cody Barton, with 9.5 points. And yeah, for those just tuning in, what makes this league so different is that this is truly a league for the pros. We employ 2 defensive player positions that can score on par with an offensive player based on their collection of tackles, turnovers created, things like that. Okay, so this is a league where you want to have depth at almost every position because your weakest link might mean your death in this league. So definitely want to get into the TFTG league next season if you missed out this time around. But we have this match here between Brian Mitchell's Ball So Hard at 3-1 and Ollie G's 1.3. Now Ollie G is off and roaring with a strong performance from tight end Cole Kemet, who had a really nice game on Thursday night, 15 points of production. Receiving back Antonio Gibson for the Commanders got into the mix and produced double digits, 10 points. And then Cairo Santos with field goal after field goal for the Bears on Thursday night contributed 25 points. And that illustrates what I was just saying, how any position can be the decisive game winner in this league. Look at that. His kicker puts up 25 points with his heavy usage on Thursday night and heavy usage from distance. And he's rewarded with a potentially fantasy football winning performance there by Cairo Santos. So Ali G is looking really good right here with a projected 150 points against tied for first place Brian Mitchell's team with just a projected 130 going forward. So that's a matchup to keep your eye on. 8 more to go, y'all. We got Roaches. Jags junkie. Remember Roach? He's the guy who was a Dolphin fan, became a Jaguars fan, and now gets whooped up on by
and still suckered right into Curtis Samuel, man. I see.
yeah. Say what you want about Roach, but he kind of knows a little bit about football. He knows a little bit. Anyway, big up to you, Roach, if you're out there listening. I didn't check the chat, but yeah, he picked up Curtis Samuel, who has been surprisingly productive so far in each week for the Commanders. I say that because if you know Curtis Samuel, you know that he typically, flirts as a great productive player in the early season and then totally disappears or is hurt for the rest of the season. But so far, so good. Curtis Samuel's put up almost 20 points of production for Roach, which has given him a solid advantage in this week's matchup against Adam Padilla, who's yet to put a player out there on the field. And if we look at the projection there, Adam Padilla's Rizzler of Oz still holds the projection advantage at 122, but it's a close one with Roach projected to have 119 points in that third matchup of the week. If we go down to matchup number 4, we have In It to Win It versus Team Greg. And for those who recall, Team Greg was the guy who kept on drafting players on injured reserve. I mean, he still has Jalen Ramsey to come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? Jonathan Taylor comes off the bench for him this week. So we're going to see how Team Greg's forward-looking strategy to see if it pays off or not in this fantasy football league. But, hey, even if it doesn't, man, I kind of admire the gumption. So big up to you, Greg. And big up to you, too, in it to win it. This is a 2-2 versus 2-2 matchup here. Another grudge match. In it to win it has already enjoyed solid defensive production from Tremaine Edmonds, 12.5 points. Whereas Team Greg is the beneficiary of the DJ Moore monster game. 51 points from DJ Moore in fantasy football. That's right, 51 points. I say it twice because you're not going to see a production like that too often on a week-to-week basis, which gives Team Greg a huge advantage in this week's matchup. He then enjoyed another 11 points, and anytime you get to double digits in fantasy football, you are at least on par. Brian Robinson with 11, and then DJ Moore with the 51 puts Greg in solid position to win, even though the projection totals are still within 20 points of one another in that matchup. All right, matchup number 5, we got Miss Finns. My skills get sexy. She brings a 3-1 record in a third placement in the league thus far against Commander Ray's Guardians of the End Zone. Neither team has put a player on the field yet. Although, sorry, my skills get sexy. Miss Finns has. It's just that player must have put up 0 points because she has 0 points currently. And with her projection of 117.3, looks like Guardians of the End Zone is about to pick up his third win as he is projected for 140 points of production. If we go down to matchup number 7, Moss is Canadian Finns. And I got to give you thanks, Moss, for bringing the Canadian Chase Claypool to our beloved Miami Dolphins. Hopefully he'll turn his career around here and do much better than your team has done thus far this week, as Moss Canadian Finns has scored -8 points. That's right, -8 points as he played the Washington defense again in Thursday night. And they were bamboozled, besmoked, just brutalized by the Chicago Bears in the production of -8 points. So he's 8 points down deep into the toilet. Moss Canadian Finns to I could see the light at Mr. Order's team, which enjoyed 2.5 points from Rashawn Johnson, the backup running back in Chicago, who looked really nice until he got blasted. Rookie Rashawn Johnson definitely got his NFL wake-up moment or go-to-sleep moment with the concussion he suffered in Thursday night's game. He had a nice run off to the left off tackle and hit the hole, was up the field 4 to 5 yards. And I don't know who hit him, but you might as well say a Matt Truck. They had that guy spinning, and he was in concussion protocol thereafter. So hopefully Rashawn Johnson can bounce back from that vicious hit he took, because he looked really good, really solid as another threat on that Chicago Bears team. But he put up 2.5 points for Orders. I could see the light team. And I guess they enjoy a 10.5 point advantage with Moss's -8 points. But hey, right before we move on, if we look at the projection total, though, it looks like Order still has a lot of work to do on his lineup, because his team is only projected to score 78 points this week. What the hell? You must have a lot of players on bye or on the bench. Man, you got to fix that lineup, bro, because Moss Canadian, despite his -8, is projected to win with 124. And then we get into matchup number 8, which is, yours truly, KP, the fantasy football commish, manager of no comparison, with his Demon Dolphins, haven't put a player out on the field yet, versus Israel Josh Stream team, his Team Stream team. Guys, if you want, you can catch the Josh Stream DJs typically every Wednesday night in Wynwood at Coyo Taco. It's one of their regular spots where they have, really redefined the reggae landscape of South Florida for the last 20 to 30 years. So big up to Israel and his fantasy football team here for the loss they're going to take this week. But, if you want to hear some good reggae music, Josh Stream sound is the way to go. But anyway, he has put up 6 points from Jahan Dotson. And with 10 more players to go, he's projected for 99 points. And, as, was to be expected, is expected to lose to the Demon Dolphins, 123. All right, moving on to matchup number 9. Oh, I think I got the matchup wrong. Actually, matchup number 8. So I must have skipped one. We got McGritty's 2-2 record, projection of 128 with no players on the field yet versus Red Ants bottom basement position, DJ Chip Fresh, with 130 points projection. If any of you know about the Red Rooster in Overtown, that's right, the Red Rooster Restaurant and Lounge in Overtown, you can catch DJ Chip Fresh every Sunday with the Afro Beats. He's the lead DJ in the Afrobeat set that happens every week at the Red Rooster downtown in Overtown, Miami. One of the hot spots on a weekly basis down here. If you love, international, diverse, cultural entertainment, you should check him out. One of Miami's best DJs, known this brother for a long time. But unfortunately, looks like he's a terrible fantasy football manager, as his team is 0-4. McGritty's looks like he's going to have an easy time, except that the projections show Red Ants will actually win with 130 points this week versus McGritty's 128. All right, almost there, gang, and then we'll open up the phone lines. We've got our 9th matchup, which is Team Crypto, fresh off his first victory of the year when he finally made a trade for quarterback Russell Wilson. And looks like he's projected to win this matchup against the 2-2 New Finland squad, who's only projected to put up 107 points. Team Crypto looks like they're scheduled to put up 142. Both teams have yet to put a player on the field. So, that matchup remains on paper only. We'll see what happens tomorrow. And then in our final matchup, and then we will open up the lines, let you guys in on the convo. We've got Team Latino. That is Andres Negron, good brother, who was always solid with the facts in the various Dolphins chats around town. Andres Negron, I got a lot of respect for that guy and his football opinions. Versus our very own, the proprietor, the boss, El Capitan, whose 2-2 team has him disappointed, as I know he thinks he's the man. But you made KP the fantasy football commission, man. You didn't know what you're doing. No way you're gonna beat me. But anyway, El Cap brings his 2-2 record. He's already got 14 points of production from, looks like, TJ Edwards with a solid defensive performance, put up 14 points in defensive production. And so he enjoys the advantage here, projected to score 142 fantasy football points versus Team Latino Andres' 95. Looks like El Cap might be at 3 wins at the end of week 5. So there you have it, folks. The fantasy football rundown from the TFTG. Right here. We do this on a weekly basis, Saturday at 11. So yeah, let's talk strategy. Let's talk who you're dumping, who you're picking up, who you're trading for, what you want to do. Let's open up the lines, Color.
Yep, I have pinned the link for anybody, if in case anybody wants to come up. In the meantime, while we're waiting on anybody to join us, Big Trev had a question. Needs to stream a wide receiver in. He says Wandale. I don't know if he means Waddle there or not. I don't know.
He means the third receiver.
There is a Wandale.
Yeah, Wandale.
Okay. That helps because now I can answer the question the way I had intended. Michael Wilson, Rashid Shaheen, or Jaden Reed, full PPR. Also wondering Ferguson or Goddard. Look, I would make my choice out of those wide receivers right just off the cuff without even looking. I'd say go with Jaden Reed. Green Bay has been and intends to use him in a similar fashion that we try to use Tyreek in our offensive system for short motion stuff and wheel fly routes and stuff like that. He has seen a little uptick in production this season so far.
Yeah, no, it's
that would be my personal choice, but
it's a really good post, really good question. I don't know if you can put it back up, Color.
Sure.
I think this went away.
Sure.
Because he's got some interesting options here. And again, ultimately, Big Trev, you are the master of your own destiny, the captain of your own boat. But I definitely understand why you posted this question, because you got some interesting and some intriguing choices here. That Michael Wilson choice is just screaming out to me, man. If you take a look at his last 2 weeks of production along in that Arizona Cardinals system, he's just getting better and better and better. Had a 2-touchdown, 7-catch performance last week. And then Rashee Rice has earned Patrick Mahomes' trust. He appears to be the number 2 option after Kelsey.
Really?
He has risen through the muck of all those receivers in KC and has become a regular cog in that KC approach. Now, he's yet to explode, but he's definitely trending up, right? And
they themselves as a team are looking for an explosion at some point coming.
And I expect there to be one this week in that Minnesota matchup.
Right.
That has blowout all over it. So again, he's got some. Now I can say Wan'Dale, rule him out. He's going up against the Dolphins this weekend. First off, and I'm not trying to be a homer here, but our boys are hungry. They may knock him out for the season. So I would cross off Wan'Dale. That's just me. But again, it's your decision, Big Trev. Right? Wan'Dale, sit his butt down. Save that young man. And then what Color pointed out about Jaden Reed is certainly true as well. As Jaden Reed has been, is one of Jordan Love's main targets. The only thing I would say about that choice is, Romeo Dubes looks like he's ahead of Reed in the pecking order out in Green Bay. And then Christian Watson did come back last week. So I don't know how that affects Jaden Reed's usage. If he is being used on the motion game as, the third wide receiver, the slot guy, if he is Jordan Love's main guy for those first downs, then he may.
Well, I think the reason they might be utilizing him that way is because he's just the fastest receiver they have, like as far as raw speed, and that's what they're trying to emulate when they're emulating the stuff we do. Because I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination that Reed is a Tyreek Hill. He just happens to be the fast guy on their team that they're trying to implement that stuff with.
No doubt, Color.
So he always has potential to break one. That's, of course, to the house. So that's always a thought in the back of your mind, too.
Absolutely. And it makes sense, And with the thing they're building over there in Green Bay, new quarterback, young wide receiver core, he certainly has risen his hand up as a guy who's going to be a part of that setup. I just don't know on a week-to-week basis at this point whether he's their main producer or their secondary option. Or but he might be, he could end up being the number one producer, in that choice of receivers.
We got Mr. Positivity himself, Cat for Life, up today. What's up, Cat for Life?
Hey, good afternoon, gentlemen. KP Color. Yeah, it's a beautiful morning today, gentlemen. Fantasy football. Give it to me, KP. Give it to me.
Hey, we love it. Hey, Cat, man, I told you Herbert was going to come through eventually, man. And
but I got cold feet, man. I pretty much gave him up for Barkley.
Okay.
Yeah. I gave him up for Barkley. I got pretty much. I got too many issues with my patience level when it comes to the tight end. So I packaged in a deal. Got Goddard and Goddard and Herbert and packaged them in for Kittle and Barkley. So we're gonna see if that works out this week. But my flex spot is kind of shot the crap right now. So I made a trade for Jalen Warren, but I'm hearing Rashee Rice's name also. So that's my issue right now in the PPR league flex spot. Jalen Warren or Rashee Rice?
If you ask me, I'm going with Rashee Rice this week.
I didn't know all that about Patrick Mahomes and him and all that. That's a prospect right there for sure.
Yeah, and they're playing Minnesota. I think they're last in the secondary in defense. I mean, that's not good for flow, but their run stop is pretty good. So
just when you think you've got, but remember, guys, just when you think you've got the Chiefs nailed down, Andy Reid has a second nephew call him up saying, "Hey, I need you to not play this guy," and Reid doesn't even dress right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just be careful with Andy Reid. That's all I'm saying.
Man, that question right there is intriguing. Gus Edwards. KP, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, how about this question, KP? CKAC Sports, thank you much for the question. Asks, do I start Gus Edwards / Jaleel McLaughlin / Jonathan Taylor at flex, half PPR. I already have Josh Jacobs and James Cook as starters.
Yo,
Interesting.
I mean, I would be interested to hear what you guys have to say about this, but
I'd almost leave that alone. I mean,
well, for
if
me,
you got Josh and James already, I mean, that's all the Raiders can do is probably run the ball.
if you're going to be in a flex spot position, and I'm not no guru here, but you're having pretty much a Baltimore-Pittsburgh battle, that's not going to be a low-scoring game, even if you don't have stock in Pittsburgh's quarterback. I mean,
to that point, I actually got Aguilar on my DFS fantasy lineup as my punt play. You know what I mean?
remember, the Ravens' backfield is always, a shuffle every week. But Gus Edwards,
I've been doing that every week, Cap. I've been sticking Aguilar on a lineup or two, thinking that just one game, I feel like him and Jackson are going to have this one game connection. You know what I mean?
I've been saying that about Rashid Bateman, and it hasn't worked out either.
Right.
Bateman,
I mean, their tight end and their running back core is their bread and butter right now. And Gus Edwards, with that backfield all banged up, it wouldn't hurt them. If it was in a flex spot. If it's an RB1 or RB2, that's your call.
Besides the fact that their running backs always share the load with their quarterback, so it's kind of tough.
Exactly.
If nobody's healthy enough to share, though. But yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing. You know what they call Gus, right? His nickname is the Bus, right? And I think this week in particular, Ravens are going to load everything up on Gus until that bus takes him to the promised land or breaks down. Now, the choice here is between Gus and Jonathan Taylor. And here's why. Because that McLaughlin, he was the hottest pickup in all of fantasy football this week with Javonte Williams going down in Denver.
Which means he's going to be high owned. Right.
Now, let me ask you this, KP.
Not that matters in
hold on a second,
long,
Cap. But the problem is that this week, Denver goes up against the Jets. And you got to look at what the Jets have allowed opposing running backs to do to them this year. And that is next to nothing. The Jets destroy running backs.
That is a
fact. I can actually tell you exactly how much it is if you give me just a second.
And so even though McLaughlin has been the hot name this week, everybody's been picking him up. It's not going to be this week. Yeah. It's not going to be.
They got Perrine too. Perrine is a good back. And I mean, they're going to utilize both of those guys.
Now, with Jonathan Taylor, in a weekly fantasy football draft, out of these three guys, Jonathan Taylor's my automatic first pick.
Well, DraftKings is saying DraftKings has when I look at now, of course, this is for fantasy for daily fantasy, but when I look at the options at running back for Denver, it shows their opponent rank, which is the rank at which that team gives up fantasy points to that particular position, right? Mm-hmm. And it's showing that the Jets give up the 22nd.
Wow.
Or 22nd in giving up fantasy points. So that means that they give up a lot of fantasy points to running backs.
Well, you know what creates that?
They may not give up a lot of points or get damaged by them in the game, but they're giving up a lot of fantasy points, which tells me yardage.
Part of that color is because their quarterback cannot sustain offense for Jets. And so the other team's always on the field, always pecking away. But the Jets remain a physical force that will stomp a running back into the dirt.
And now, in a half PPR, I don't think that McLaughlin is just going to get you the production you need in a half PPR.
I would shy away from McLaughlin this week just to get it.
Of course, as soon as we say that, Kahari, he breaks the slate. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But I would wait to see how he performs against the Jets. Probably a good litmus test for him going forward because he.
Do we think Denver sucks though, KP? Do we think Denver?
Their offense is scoring.
Yeah, their offense is scoring. We're talking fantasy here. We're not talking about real life. You know.
Interesting.
But Cap. Also, the reason I felt comfortable about our defense was that Denver was able to score points in the games they lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean Russell.
So we held them to 13 points while putting 70 on them. That's why I was comfortable with our defense going.
Russell is throwing the ball. He is getting points, but I don't know. Denver's just suspect for me right now. Jerry Jeudy. I mean, Jerry Judy's supposed to be their guy.
But somebody's got to get yards. Somebody's got to produce on the ground.
Right.
And right now, McLaughlin is that guy.
I'm in a PPR league, guys. But I'm in 2 PPR leagues actually, and
Tony, hold on 1 second. Are we going to get to you next? I just want to address the Jonathan Taylor question because I did lead with that question earlier.
If he's playing, you start him.
but that's the thing. We don't know yet how much.
Yeah,
he's
it's
play
still up in the
if he's
air.
playing. So,
DraftKings has him as out Kahari,
yeah,
but also has him priced at 6,100. That's
Ex-
starting running back price. You know
That's
what
what
I
I'm
mean?
saying.
So,
Vegas
you
knows
gotta
something,
wait
bro.
and see. So whoever that guy was, who was it? CKAC Sports.
Yeah, that was. Let me grab it back real quick.
Yeah. So
CKAC Sports.
So yeah, I would. I can't give you a definitive answer now. I don't think anybody can.
You got to
But
wait till kickoff, bro.
Yeah, you need to wait. You need to continue to monitor what's going on. And if he is starting or if he is playing, then he's a top 3 running back in this league.
You got to check your
He
flex
probably
spot
be-
player times too, man. Like you got to see who
Yeah,
plays
I'd
that four, who
imagine
plays
that
that
Greg
one.
is probably monitoring that situation as well, really closely. He'll
Yeah.
probably slide him in because Greg has him on his bench.
Yeah. But Tony, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? I haven't heard from
What
you
up?
in a while.
Thanks for the question, CKAC.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anthony.
I have a question. What's the difference between a standard PPR
There you
and
go.
a flex?
Oh, real quick,
half
I'm sorry,
PPR?
Tony, to interrupt you again. CKAC Sports says Colts just activated JT 10 minutes ago.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, active is not the same as starting either, so I would still pay
That's
attention.
correct. That's correct. But it is
Yeah.
good to
No, he's
see
playing.
that he's
He's
actually a
playing, bro.
viable option.
That is
option
good.
to
He's playing,
look at.
Because CKAC, you got to think about it this way. Zach Moss has done himself no disservice with his performance over the last 2 weeks. He came back from a broken arm and has put up almost 2 back-to-back 100-yard performances with his ability to take it into the end zone a couple of times. So they're in no rush to bring JT back with that kind of production coming from the running back position. And, Zach Moss has earned his, his continued looks as well, which is going to bite into Jonathan Taylor's usage. He doesn't have to be the only down back as it stands right now. That may change in the future. So anyway, I would keep my eye on it though. But I mean, if Jonathan Taylor's going to start, and we know he's going to play now, right? So he may be the guy.
Interesting. Very interesting.
But yeah, Tony, man, sorry for delaying you, bro. I know you've been chomping at the bit to get your question in. What's up?
Well, what's up, guys?
Anthony.
Morning,
Hey.
bro.
Hey, Cap.
Blue skies and sunshine this morning, Anthony. How about you?
Afternoon.
Losing hair, more hair as I'm losing more and more hair. So
Join the club, brother.
What I was gonna ask, I've joined PPR leagues. There's a flex half PPR, and then there's a traditional PPR. What is the difference and stuff like that?
Well, I believe it's just to set up in the positions, in the format, in the scoring.
Check your settings, bro.
Yeah, check the settings.
No, we have when I look at my score, when I look at my score, they have it shows 100, like 101, then it has like 0.6 or 0.5. Would that be a flex?
You get a
half?
point. I mean, if it's for your flex only or for the whole league.
No, it's for everybody.
Yeah, so you get a 1.5 or either a half, one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
You don't check your last scores, your last 3 games?
I lost. I lost by
Check your
like
players.
20.
Check your player status, and you'll find out the point setting right there. You'll find out what they got for each catch. You'll find out what they got for each yardage made. I mean, you'll answer your questions right there. But check your commissioner settings. They'll tell you all the breakdown for the point setting.
Yeah, Cap is 100% right. Just check the settings and the scoring settings in particular. But generally, a half PPR just is a hybrid scoring format that combines standard scoring and full point per reception, right? So basically, a player would get a half point for reception in addition to the yards and the potential touchdowns that they score, versus standard, which won't give you the credit for a reception unless
you got bonuses in your league.
Unless it's set.
We have one of our bonuses if our running back gets both a receiving and a like 2+ touchdowns receiving and what's it called? Receiving and rushing. So and total yards per from scrimmage and basic. The running back in our leagues are not done just by rushing yards, it's total yards per scrimmage.
Right. Okay. Yeah. See, those half PPR leagues reward those slot receivers, those high volume receivers.
Sounds like standard, right, KP?
Yeah, they're not going to put up a lot of yards, but let's say if they get 8 receptions, that's good production. And so the half PPRs would reward that guy.
Oh, and my other question actually is, and I have multiple leagues where Devon A-Chain is actually where I can claim him off waivers, and I have
what are you
Elijah Mitchell as my backup running back. Should I switch?
Team league, Anthony.
Hell yeah!
That's an 8-team league. Has to be.
It's a 12-team league.
And he's available on the waiver?
Anthony, you're sitting on Elijah Mitchell for Devon A-Chain?
Bro, pick him up. What are you thinking, bro?
Right away, dude. Right away, man. Listen, Elijah Mitchell is begging for touches behind Christian McCaffrey.
If your waiver order unlocked, if you're able to get him, go get him now, bro.
By the way, for any of you that thought, real quick, guys, for any of you that thought you were going to do a double stack with a Chan and Mostert this week on daily fantasy, nope. DraftKings has made the adjustment now. Mostert is only 200 more than a Chan. A Chan is 6,100 now on DFS on DraftKings.
So Anthony, that should break it down for you.
They're making the move, bro. He's going to be number 1. You got to get him now, Anthony.
And he's averaging 28 fantasy points per game. That's absolutely nuts.
Are you able to get him now, or you have to wait?
The reason why I asked that is because the waiver wire in our thing actually works like how they set it up. The commissioner set it up is the waiver wire is actually connected to be able to your trading mechanism. So you can
what's your number?
Trade.
What number is your number in the waiver order?
How many waivers have I done?
No, dude. What's your number in your waiver? I mean, like, what number are you in the waiver order this week?
I'm number 4.
You better hope that you're. Oh God.
You may be gone by the time you get to choose. You know what I'm saying? If you're lucky, you will get A-Chain.
If you're lucky.
I would drop Elijah Mitchell if you can. And
in a heartbeat, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, and is there a defense you would recommend me pick up? Because I have the Dolphins, and they've been losing me points the past few weeks.
Well, let me take.
Well, hold on. First of all, you might want to entertain keeping that defense because the Giants can only score 11 points. I've only been scoring 11 points per game.
Yeah, I mean, I would keep them, bro.
Dolphins
and also, if you wanted to what defenses are available to you, I don't know, but obviously the Jets going against the Broncos.
And the Bills.
Bills has the best defense in the league right now, bro.
Yeah, you know what's weird? People never, when we were doing our draft, no one drafted the Bills defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. However, who are they playing? They're playing the Jags.
Yeah,
that could potentially be a high, not a high scorer, but if the Jags get to 20 points on a defense, your defense is squandered in fantasy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're looking, at least in daily fantasy, you're always looking for the team that will hold a team to under 13 points.
Yeah.
To be the standout defense of the week. You know what I mean?
The Steelers have question marks at the wide receiver. Sorry, at the quarterback position right now. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Is Kenny Pickett even going to play this week? Right? I
know that I don't know.
Yeah,
I saw an article that said it's likely he will, but there again with the Dolphins, you're going against the team that averages 11 points per game. That's going to keep your points for the Dolphins D pretty high if we can follow suit and hold them to under 13 or 13 or below. You know what I mean?
When it comes to the kicker, actually, you know what?
And we're playing at home, Tony. Look for a turnover. Look for a pick 6 in this game from our defense. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You might want to hold on to that Dolphins D this week.
Remember, we get a turnover every game. Almost basically every game we get a turnover.
Yeah. For my league, my record is like 1-3.
Nobody would say you're being a homer by holding on to Dolphins defense this week. I don't think you're being a homer.
Yeah, that's a strong play this week. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and also in our league, like, I don't know what happened that I guess someone missed it. Justin Tucker's available. And I have Josh Elliott as my starting kicker. Do I switch him out for Justin.
Well,
Justin
it's
Tucker?
likely Tucker's available because the Ravens really haven't been putting up a lot of points.
Anthony,
So
I
he's
had
not
Tucker.
getting the extra points that they were expecting out of him.
I had Tucker, Anthony, and I dropped him. I pretty much picked up Nick Foles. I mean, you have Matt Prater out there. I don't know who's available in your league, dude, but there's kickers out there. Kickers are least of your concerns right now. Like, you got to go find out about
and
your running back.
Hey, and if you
Kyron
expect us
Santos
to
is available.
score 6 or 7 touchdowns, hey, Jason Sanders, man.
Yeah, I have what is it called? I have Kyron Santos available in my league.
Yeah, it depends.
It worked out for Ali, but he's already played this week.
Yeah, look at your matchups. Find out teams that are
Santos has
high
already
scoring.
played this
and
week.
Actually, my league is already like our most league starts on Thursday now.
Yeah,
we have to get our roster set up by end of business day on Wednesday. Basically.
Get the kicker, Anthony. Get the kicker that's their offense is either high scoring or kickers that are playing good matchups. At this point in the quarter of the season, bro, you got to look at the matchups now. Now players, the teams, their identities. You know what I'm saying?
I'm thinking of dropping CD Lamb for some reason because
CD Lamb.
No, because he's not producing any points for me.
You don't drop CD Lamb, bro.
Huh?
KP, talk to me. Talk to him.
Well, this week you got the Cowboys versus 49ers. If the Cowboys have any chance, it will be because CeeDee Lamb is going to be productive in this matchup. So it's a primetime matchup Sunday night.
I don't have access to him for daily fantasies on Sunday night.
The first.
If you want to trade him, that's different, but don't drop him.
Or okay, I'll bench him because I have another receiver that's been producing more for me.
Yeah, but Anthony, CeeDee Lamb was I believe he was the 4th most productive receiver last season on my according to my average of 9 metrics.
Yeah, bro, I had him. I had CeeDee Lamb.
And if Dallas is to get their offense back on track, it's likely going to be CeeDee Lamb putting up big numbers again. You know what I mean?
Well, the reason why I asked that is because the past 4 weeks for me, CD's only given me like 3.5 points.
Yeah,
just don't drop him off your roster altogether, bro.
Try to trade him for a running back, Anthony.
Remember this. CeeDee Lamb in your case, I think is you can look at it like nothing goes up or down in a straight line, and right now he's on a dip. You know what I mean? Keep him. Just keep him.
If you bench him, Anthony, you got to be sure that the guy you're putting in is going to give you guaranteed numbers. Who are you considering?
Right. If you're replacing him for Justin Jefferson, that's a different story. Right. Or maybe even a Amon Ra might be a viable one. But.
Someone was, I don't know what this person did. I guess he thought Tyreek wasn't going to perform or something. Tyreek is available.
What?
Oh. Well, I don't know what kind of league you're in.
Well, I would then I would immediately open up my roster spot if I needed to by bouncing CeeDee Lamb for Tyreek Hill.
Why are you on the phone with us? Go pick up Tyreek.
I know, right? Bro. That's a no-brainer, man.
No. The reason why I asked that is because I guess this person was able to get Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, but I still probably wouldn't make that move because Tyreek Hill has potential to put up a lot more than Justin Jefferson just based on who's throwing him the ball.
Yeah, and the matchup this week. I mean,
should have an easy time. No. I guess the guy when he did
Tyreek Hill produces 150 yards whether we win or lose is what I'm saying.
I guess he didn't realize the person who really let him walk on waivers and stuff like that. Like he switched him for Justin Jefferson because he saw that the matchup for Tyreek.
Let me quote the delusional Patriots fan here. F that person, get Tyreek.
Yeah, exactly. Don't try to figure out what they were thinking.
Jahan Dotson, should I switch for a better flex?
Well, Jahan Dotson already played, right? So,
See, Tony, this is where now, if that guy did that, okay, some might argue that that's a valid swap out for Justin Jefferson. Okay, I'm not going to argue it because I'm a Dolphins fan. And then when you're talking about 2 guys that are almost equal in production like that, that's where you're allowed to make a decision based on emotion in your fandom, because you're really just flipping a coin there anyway.
And
You
who
know,
should I start?
I'm a Dolphin fan. I would stick with Tyreek myself.
Okay.
You know,
And for my tight end, I have Dallas Goedert and Dalton Schultz. Who should I start?
God, that's another coin flip. Who are they playing?
The Eagles are playing the Eagles, I think.
I traded Goddard. I had him, but
Okay, well, hold on. Goddard is with who?
The Eagles, and they are playing the Rams. Which there's a potential.
That's gonna signal a lot of outlet use for Goddard, likely. I was looking at Higbee myself on the other side.
I think the Texans are playing the Colts
Falcons.
or something.
The Falcons.
I can't remember.
Right. So you're talking about. Well, I don't know though, because I don't think he's put up the numbers in Houston so far.
No,
because
but I don't know.
Stroud hasn't really found the need to use him, I guess. But that's true. But you're talking about a big matchup on the other side that's likely going to be a slobber knocker. You know what I mean? And tight ends get involved in slobber knockers usually.
Their slot corner is a very suspect. He gets the slot corner for the Colts. They say he has the lowest
the Colts. You talking about the Falcons or
I like the overall game script better for Goddard this week.
Yeah,
However,
okay.
So if I was speaking in daily fantasy terms, I might fade Goddard for the other guy right now, because it is a coin flip between the two.
I think Goddard is due.
You know, if the other guy gets even close to the same production as Goddard might do better than him. But it has to, if he's really high owned, because everybody sees the same thing I do about game script, then those extra couple points that Goddard gets over him are not going to make a difference. It'd be better to be differentiated and have the guy nobody else has. But that only applies to daily fantasy, not to season long, because nobody else can have him if you have him in season long.
When it comes to fantasy, I've heard people say, for daily fantasy, what do you mean by fading?
Okay, so as I was saying, in daily, and I appreciate the question, because it's a nice little segue to a quick daily fantasy question for those that listen for that purpose. And kind of what I'm trying to be here to provide for Kahari whenever those questions come. But
you got it.
Fading is so in daily fantasy, Anthony. One of the important things, since everybody can choose the same players, like when I put a player on my lineup, that doesn't spend him for the tournament. Anybody else can put him on the lineup. That's the benefit of daily fantasy. You can have a different lineup every single time you play, right? And every tournament you enter.
When daily fantasy
it's basically
comes
instead of season long, it's week to week. So everybody gets to play every player on their lineup. You and I could literally have the same exact lineup, and we would share the top prize if we both won.
Playing against each other, basically. Almost.
Right, but let's say you and I had the exact same lineup and it took first place. You and I would share the winnings.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's possible to have the same exact lineup as somebody else. Well, what that also means is when you get a player like in this situation, it's likely that everybody and their mother was going to choose Goddard over the other guy because of the matchup, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if they're going to be separated by 2 or 3 fantasy points, if Goddard's ownership, this is what's called ownership, if he's high owned, okay, it's not going to benefit you because you're not differentiating between other people. You could actually save money by getting the other guy who might get 2 points away from him, could even outperform him. And most other people, he's going to be low owned, which means if he comes through, not only did he allow you to pick up a better player somewhere else because his salary was lower, that's how you're going to differentiate yourself between the 10 other people that had Dallas Goedert that are going for that prize. You see what I'm saying? So to fade somebody, hold on. To fade somebody would be saying everybody's going for this guy and he's high priced and high owned. So I'm going to go with this similar option over here that hardly anybody else is doing. That's called a fade.
In your league, your week-to-week league do you ever get a Christian McCaffrey?
Well, there's no league per se. They're all tournaments or cash games.
No, that's what I meant. Your week-to-week
you
tournament.
have 100,000 people setting a lineup and putting it in. Some of them multiple lineups, right?
Okay.
So, like I said, you and I could all have this. You and I could both have a lineup with all the same exact players.
Mm-hmm.
So it goes by percentage.
Like week.
So when you look at the ownership, you say, okay, Christian McCaffrey, top player. Most people are going to chalk him up, right?
Okay.
So that's why a player like that is called chalk. If you ever wanted to know what the word chalk meant, okay. But they're really high priced because they're consistently top fantasy performers. So you've got to balance that with your 50,000 in salary that you have to spread across your lineup. Can you get other good players? Maybe not. So you might want to fade a guy like Christian McCaffrey because maybe you think this other running back over here that's a lot cheaper is probably going to have a breakout game, and Christian McCaffrey's big numbers aren't going to matter. And all the people that had Christian McCaffrey are going to be sitting there in 5th place going, dang, I didn't see that coming. You know what I mean? So when you choose not to play chalk, that's called a fade.
Oh, so chalk is basically almost a given
production of fantasy points, no matter what their salary is. It's a given production. You could have a cheap player that's chalk also, because maybe everybody's onto him now. A Chan could be looked at as chalk this week because everybody's starting to figure out, oh, wait, well, who's this guy? He's getting 28 per. You know what I mean? And he's facing a bad defense this week. So Chan's going to actually be chalk, even though his price doesn't show that.
Okay. Yeah. And
that's a case where you can't fade that guy because if he's chalk and he's cheap, everybody's going to have him, and it's likely going to be dependent on him for anybody to win.
Are there any chalk quarterbacks you can recommend if I do start doing daily?
Kirk Cousins is chalk quarterbacks. Like chalk quarterbacks are going to be your Patrick Mahomes, your running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson if you're expecting him to go against a bad defense or if he's on his game.
The perfect. What would you say?
Tua could be considered chalk these days. I mean, he's getting the production consistently, even in losses. So,
would you consider JT chalk?
Jonathan.
No,
Jonathan Taylor.
My God, Justin, the quarterback for the
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields.
I mean, Justin Herbert.
No, Fields.
Not yet, because he's not an elite quarterback. When it comes to quarterback, you have to be pretty much elite or have a really favorable matchup to be chalk.
Even though he gives you a high production of rushing yards, he's not considered chalk.
Yeah, but that might be all he gets that week, and no touchdowns.
Oh, okay.
Hey, I think the natives are getting restless. They're asking questions down there. Can we answer some?
Yeah.
Season long. Yeah, feel free, man. Feel free.
All right, so let's see. Let's take a look at what's happening down there. What's one of the questions, Cap? I don't see any right now.
Would you start DeAndre Hopkins or Jordan Addison?
Addison all day, man. It's going to be that game is scheduled to be a shootout. Addison has already shown that he can be a decisive game winner, right? So whereas DeAndre Hopkins, right, he's stuck in that morass of an offense in Tennessee that ain't going nowhere quick. You know what I'm saying? So,
I agree.
Yeah, Tennessee has look at what's the Tennessee matchup this week. Tennessee is
the Colts.
Yeah, that's going to be a run. It's going to be that game will be compared,
especially with Henry starting to surge again.
Jonathan Taylor coming back. That both teams are going to look to run the ball. There, I say Addison all day.
I would choose Adam Thielen actually for this one.
This question from is that Isaiah Rodriguez?
Isaiah
with Amon out. Who should I start to replace him? Adam Thielen or Calvin Ridley?
It's a good question.
Yeah,
I mean,
great
Good
question.
question.
I think
Yes.
I think Adam Thielen is a better receiver, but less productive over the last 2 seasons
Jacksonville
and
plays
less
who? Buffalo?
consistently reliable to produce than Calvin Ridley.
But Cutler, he has had a little bit of a resurgence this year in Carolina. He's been the one receiver that's been productive along with their rookie quarterback.
So he's all they got, basically. All right, that's a good move.
And not necessarily downfield, which has been like the definitive characteristic of his career. Adam Thielen was always a downfield threat.
Right,
he's not in the mid-range here. His receptions are up. And with what's the name of the quarterback again? The Alabama.
Oh, they got the little guy, right?
Yeah, with him coming back into the lineup now, he's almost like the safety blanket for him. So Adam Thielen is a strong play.
Yeah, that is.
But they're playing Detroit. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah. That encourages me to play him because Detroit, if they start, putting up points, Panthers
are gonna have to throw,
So yeah, I think Thielen is a strong play here.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is banged up. Chuba Hubbard ain't doing much.
Here's a question that'll bang it up. I think that's Domo asks, "Hey guys, I'm 4-0 in my 12-man league, and just got offered Derrick Henry, D Hop, and Cup and Montgomery for AJ Brown, Jerome Ford, Hollywood Brown, and Dalvin Cook." Ooh. Look at the matchups on that one. That's all I'd have to say, because I think Cup alone might be worth a trade since he's back in action this week. This is his first start of the year. We haven't seen Cooper Kupp at all this year, and that might be a strong play. That might be a play just for Cooper Kupp, to be honest with you.
Hey, and if I'm that person, I'm taking that deal. Whoever's getting Derrick Henry and Cooper Kupp, I'm making this deal immediately. I'm like,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because like I said, Derrick Henry's starting to get back on his game. And you got Kupp starting for the first time this year. Yeah, that's a really strong trade right there, man.
Say what you want about A.J. Brown, but his production is capped by the run focus of that Philadelphia attack.
So he's basically getting all that, and he's giving up Jerome Ford, Hollywood, and Dalvin.
And the ability for Hurts to find him, which seems to me a little lacking. You know what I mean?
Robert Saleh just said this week that the restriction is off of Breece Hall, which means they're going to go full unleashment of Breece Hall, which is going to work to Dalvin Cook's detriment. So whoever that side is there with Brown, Ford, Brown, and Cook, they're stealing. That's a steal for them, man.
Samuel Jones has a question. Color. He's asking. I have Jefferson, Brown, and Moore. Who should I trade to for a good running back?
I have Jefferson and Brown and
Moore.
Which should I trade for a good quarterback?
Probably DJ Moore. He can end up shutting off.
I mean, do you have to? Do you have to trade for a running back? That's a pretty good.
Which Brown are they talking about? I don't know.
Brown.
AJ. I think he's talking about AJ Brown.
Yeah, if it's AJ, no.
I'm sorry, Greg. I forgot you was out.
I got breaking news! Breaking news! Breaking news! Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he's
Colts for 3 years, $42 million. I don't know if you talked about it, but that's breaking news.
Oh, he just signed. He just signed a new deal.
Yep, just signed right now.
Yeah, so he Lamar Jacksoned us. So he Lamar Jacksoned us. All right,
damn.
Just like everybody else.
For $42 million, 3 years.
Well, hey, going back to that earlier guy's question, and Jonathan Taylor is the player.
Which, by the way, we could have afforded and probably offered him more. So
how much is that per year?
A trade can't still happen. The contract just means he'd be traded with the contract. That's all that means.
How much is that per year?
3 to 42. That's what? That's 15, 12. Don't know. 16.
Not 9.5 million a year, probably.
Oh, 3 years.
No, 3 into 42 is 14 million, right?
So he just set the market.
Well, that's what Saquon got. And that's what we were willing to pay him. I guarantee you we're willing to pay him 14.
Saquon got 12. I think he has Hollywood Brown. I think it's Hollywood, not AJ.
Also, Dad Dean is asking if Amon's out. Somebody else said that. It seems to be. I haven't confirmed it myself, but it seems to be.
Yeah, he's out. He's out.
Brown is out this week.
Okay.
And listen, that Samuel Lance question is incomplete. It depends on who you're trading for.
Mhm.
You know, it depends on which running back we're talking about. Okay.
Well, that's what he's asking. I think also what running back would be worth one of those guys, whoever we tell him to trade. You know what I mean? Like, who could he expect to get for DJ Moore? Or who could he expect to get for the other guys? You know what I mean?
Yep.
But Greg has got to be happier than a pig in the shit right now, bro.
The only
mean,
problem is
if I were him,
Justin Fields.
if I were him and I wanted to be bold,
Oh,
I would want to trade.
Balled out last couple of weeks, Greg. You can't be mad with Justin Fields now, dude.
I know.
it's because Goff was better, so I benched him. Now all of a sudden I'll start Fields next week, and Fields will suck.
Who's Fields playing next week? Because Goff is going to get his numbers. Goff is going to be consistent. So who's Fields playing next week?
Bears are playing the Minnesota Vikings next week.
I'd be careful with running Fields out there against the Vikings as opposed to your consistent Jared Goff. You know what I mean?
And I think the Lions play the Buccaneers.
See, that could be a shootout.
Yeah.
Jose Ramos asks, 12-team PPR, 1 flex, bench 1, Kamara, Etienne, Mixon, Kyron Williams. I don't know why something is telling me to start Mixon versus Arizona. Because
Kamara,
it's
who
not
else?
something telling you. It's the fact that their offense hasn't been able to do nothing with Joe Burrow for the past couple of weeks, and they're likely going to start to rely heavily on Mixon going forward.
Yeah. If you got a bench one, it's between, I guess, Etienne and Mixon right now. But
But Etienne could show out against the Bills in London for all we know. You know, I mean, that's more of a gamble, but not an impossibility.
I got the Jaguars winning tomorrow against Buffalo.
Interesting.
Jags don't lose in London. I'm going with that. Bills fans, I don't hate your team. Actually, I do hate your team, but it's just my prediction. I think the Bills will easily win this game. I like the Jags this week.
So you think they're going to have not getting blown out, but they're going to have a letdown after blowing out the Dolphins?
Dude, yeah. They got to travel all the way across the pond.
London, yeah.
Jaguars have been there for a week. They're already accustomed to it. Yes, they want to go home, Mike. Okay, I understand that aspect. But the Jaguars, I think, have a bye after this, so they'll get to enjoy the nice Floridian
the
weather.
Jaguars are extra physical, and Buffalo's going to be softened up. You probably can expect Etienne to have a really good game in London.
I wouldn't be shocked if the Bills win that game either.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But going back to Ramos's question there about can you put that back up again about who to bench out of those 4 guys?
You had Kamara, Mixon. Who else was it?
Mixon,
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams is the top 5 running back right now.
Well, yeah, his usage has been like off the chain in over there in LA. But there's a report this week. You can go Google it and look it up on Kyron Williams about his role potentially changing this week because of the success of his opponent in stopping the run. They may be even flexing.
With Cooper Kupp coming back.
With Kupp back in the lineup, don't forget.
Exactly. So you can look for some change in Williams' usage this week. But I'd still say I would bench Mixon here, even though I know.
Oh, and by the way, that little Tutu Atwell short motion that they've been copying off of us with Tutu Atwell.
Yeah.
If you're in a daily fantasy spot and you need to find a cheap wide receiver to punt for, go with Tutu Atwell, because it's possible Kupp could set up an entire decoy situation for them to run that stuff all over them this week. You know what I mean? With Tutu Atwell.
What about my guy, Puka Nuka?
Puka Nakua?
Well, he's likely been the guy replacing Cooper Kupp, so he'll probably fall back. Tutu Atwell has a specific role in their offense.
Puka Nakua has been a top 5 wide receiver.
That's because he is the guy. He's the guy getting thrown to, and that normally is Cooper Kupp.
Yeah,
he's in their X position. You know, their wide receiver 1.
So he'll probably be designated like a Waddle.
Think of it like this, Cat for Life. A lot of people in our fan base assume that Waddle is the backup to Tyreek. He's not. Cedric Wilson is the backup to Tyreek.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cedric Wilson.
George said he was offered Tyreek Hill and Ramondre Stevenson for Jalen Waddle and Pollard.
Veto that trade. That's a stupid trade.
What was that trade again? Let me see.
He was offered Tyreek, and wait, is it in a comment? Hold on.
Yes.
Who's the user?
Greg. George. I'll tell you right now. Sorry. George Cook.
Yeah, George Cook.
Right there. I have hold on. I have Tua. I've essentially been offered Tyreek Hill and Ramondre Stevenson for my Waddle and Pollard.
Take that trade and don't look back.
That's a
Pollard,
close.
Pollard's a top 3 running back right now, if not top 2.
Mm-hmm. And Waddle has been pretty indifferent. I mean,
Yeah, I don't think Ramondre Stevenson makes up the difference between Waddle and Hill.
I like that.
To be honest with you,
I like that or at the bottom because ultimately you got to expect, based on the consistency that they showed in their young careers, that Chase and Burrow will eventually get it going.
Right.
So if you can get, at this point, you're buying low. You're getting Chase and Burrow low. Additionally, with Kamara coming back, I like that. Whoever's getting Jamar, Chase, Burrow, and Kamara, they have the upside going their way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so
they're
you
buying
think you
low
like
at that point,
and you like the second trade over the first one?
Yeah, I think the second one is more. I mean, for Waddle and Pollard, I mean, honestly, it could go either way at the end of things. But I like the potential for Chase and Burrow to have a strong comeback, as well as Kamara. I mean, Kamara just is fresh back from his suspension too, and that New Orleans team is pretty tough. So they're gonna. I mean, his usage is gonna go up as well. It could be a boon for whoever gets Chase, Burrow, and Kamara. But I mean, the players involved in either scenario are really game changers. So it could just as easily turn out in the advantage of the other player.
With the first scenario, Hill edges out Waddle. I think we all can agree with that, right?
Facts.
But Pollard blows away Ramondre Stevenson.
Correct.
So the difference in production, in other words, the other guy, Waddle or Tyreek Hill, would have to make up the difference in production between Pollard and Ramondre Stevenson, and I just don't see that happening.
And the risk you take with Pollard is, right, he's been dynamic thus far. He's been ultra productive, but he's never shown that he can handle it for a full season. And with a guy his size, I'd like to, see him do this all season long, at least once, before I put him in that elite running back category.
Right.
Because for me, the running back position, injury has to always be factored in.
Of course. On the other token, Belichick running game, that's all they have there. So he could have a good game too. The problem is he's sharing with Zeke in that respect.
And Zeke is making noises already about him wanting to get more touches.
Yeah, they're not playing him.
And he's got the pedigree to demand that. So we'll see.
Color Adam Polina or
Adam Padilla.
Adam Padilla is asking. This is an actual real question for our fantasy league. As Herbert is on his bye week, is it better to start Kyle Allen and get 1 point from the Neals or Will Levis and hope that Tannehill gets benched?
Yeah, it's just funny just to think about, right? I think it's too early to talk about benching Tannehill because Tennessee is, while their hopes are fading, they're still going to want to try to, make a push. And I think it's going to be with Tannehill. But once Tennessee passes that Rubicon, right, crosses the Rubicon, then, yeah, that Levis scenario becomes more and more likable. So if that is what you predict, that's what you see, that may be a slick long-term move to make, forward thinking, especially in a really deep league like the one we have here at TFTG. But it may be a bit premature at this moment is what I'm thinking.
George says, but then what would I do with Tua for that Burrow trade? If he goes for the Burrow trade, what does he do with Tua? He's wondering.
He has Tua as his quarterback.
Yes.
You keep him as your one, or I mean, either way, you got a 1 and a 2 now.
Or future trade token.
With the risk of being sacrificed by the Tua sexuals, trade him now while he's hot. I mean, you might be able to get a bag back for Tua right now. Everybody loves Tua now. This is the time when you trade him for the ultimate reward.
If his quarterback had a bye already, then yeah. But
especially if you anticipate Burrow coming in and rebounding, then you trade Tua, get boss receiver, boss running back for him, and then you ride the upswing on Burrow. I mean, we're talking about how to win a fantasy football league here. We're not talking about favoritism in particular players, and so that's the way you want to think about it when it comes to fantasy football.
And he said he in that comment he said I could maybe flip him to the Tyreek owner for Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, I like it, but Justin Fields at this stage is a bit more risky. He's more of a risky proposition. Like Color said earlier, he could just as soon have a bummy night as explode with the rushing yards and the production. So, he's got established consistency in his career, in his young career. So.
Hey, Color, do you think since daily fantasy has started, it has gotten to the point where these super nerds are always winning? You know how fantasy baseball people are starting to move away from it because of the fact these guys are using so much analytics?
Of course, but there's still ways to do. I still have fun with it. I just abandon because if you want to compete, you do have to put a lot of work in the analytics and all that. If you want to compete in the big tournaments and all that, but look, there's still ways to win. It's about picking the type of tournament you're in, how many people are in it, and various things like that. You also still have the ability to set up private tournaments where you might have 50 of your friends all putting in $20. Somebody's got to go on mute.
I'm actually thinking of doing daily fantasy and between Underdog and daily pro fantasy.
I love Underdog. That shit is fun. I love Underdog fantasy. It's fun. I've been doing really good lately.
With Underdog or Daily Pro?
Bro, I won $44 off the hot dog eating contest thanks to Underdog.
What? Wait a minute.
I won $44 off the hot dog.
You bet on Chestnut?
No, I bet on like the eaters and whatnot to go either lower on eating dogs or higher on eating dogs, and I won $44.
I know nothing of what you guys are talking about, but it sounds funny. Sounds intriguing. I need to go check it out.
It's Underdog fantasy. Basically what it is, it's pick'ems. You either pick this player to go higher on their projection of yards or bases for baseball or points for basketball, or you pick lower. And yeah, that's basically all it is. There's drafts. You can
bet on teams. Hot dog eating contests.
Yeah, they have it in the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
You can either bet this person's gonna eat this much of hot dogs or
Kobayashi,
eat less.
Over and under on the number of hot dogs they eat.
Yeah. They have
Chestnut and Kobayashi and all that.
They have soccer. They have
NASCAR where you can bet.
Damn.
Yeah, they bet for the auto racing they make you bet based on you can predict where they're gonna place in the race. Basically.
Bro, they even got drone racing betting, bro.
Yeah.
Like the little drones.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
I gotta put my pick 'em in for college. They've been doing boosters and specials every week. They have 100K Sundays where you just gotta pick a player that has the 100K, and then it doesn't matter if the slip wins or not. You have a shot at $10,000.
Hey, Color, who the Kings play today?
We're
Georgia
playing
Tech.
Georgia Tech.
That game's gonna be high scoring. I got the over.
No, it won't.
Georgia Tech is gonna get their butts blown out.
Well, I guess they'll be high scoring on one team will be high scoring, but
Georgia Tech got the same coach.
Nah, but if you really want to watch a master class in triple option football, watch that game today. It'll be fun to watch.
They changed Georgia Tech. I heard they're going away from the triple option. They got a new offense they got going. It kind of sucks,
Oh, yeah?
but
Oh yeah. Well,
It's a pro style offense they're running now.
exactly. And I think Miami's going to beat their ass. I just need Georgia Tech to score points to cover the over.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's a pro style offense. We're gonna give them a pro style beatdown.
Hey,
Exactly.
as far as Jose Ramos has asked another question here. The only thought I have here, Ramos, is Ferguson. I know as a tight end in that Dallas setup, he has been well participant in their overall offensive production, right? So his arrow is pointing up in terms of fantasy football production, whereas George Kittle has been a little bit middling. I know he had like almost 100 yards last week on 7 catches. Does that mean that Kittle has arrived and is back to typical Kittle? That's the only thing I'm thinking about. But otherwise, you have a very strong lineup going into this Week 5 matchup because I think Chase's upswing production will continue. Herbert is Herbert. Pittman, you can Google Pittman this week. There are lots of articles about how his numbers are going to go up after a 1-catch performance last week. They're going to definitely feed him the ball, so that's a good solid play this week. And then we've spoken about Etienne and Kamara already. And then Kyron Williams. So you got a strong lineup this week. I mean, I don't know who your opponent is, but you should feel confident. The only thing I'm thinking about, based on your question, is Ferguson for Kittle. But I think, staying with Kittle is probably the responsible play.
Yeah,
Should
I made a
people
move
pick
for
up Chase
Kittle.
Claypool?
I made a move for Kittle in the league, and for me, the mindset for me is I seen Ayuk is getting a little bit banged up. Debo just coming off a little bit of a little problem he had too. So I just think in this type of game against Dallas versus the Niners,
Kittle will make plays, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kahari,
That's a smart play.
Kahari, people have been asking me, should they pick up Chase Claypool after the trade to the Dolphins?
Hell yes. I think they should.
I looked at. Hey, I did research the possibilities. I tend to be a little bit more conservative. I don't like the flash in the pan, and and in this case, I want to see how he fits in. I do see a way for him to fit in as a. Me and Color were talking about that before the show started. So if you're a more aggressive coach, right, you want to be at the head of the line, go ahead and make that a play right now. But there is also a case to wait and see how he filters in to this offense, because you got a lot of mouths to be fed in this Dolphins offense, and you got to consider with A-Chain coming out as we got to feed A-Chain, right? You got Mostert, but then you got Tyreek and Waddle coming back into the mix as well. How is there going to be enough volume to make a talented guy like Claypool fantasy viable on a consistent basis? If everything works out, I'm sure he's going to have weeks or nights where he's ultra productive. 2 touchdown nights, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't know where or when. I can't pencil it in.
No, according to the reports, we might. Is Waddle coming back this week?
Yeah, Waddle's back.
Okay, because I wasn't sure if you played the game against Buffalo. That's why I was asking.
He did.
Okay. No, the reason why I asked that is because maybe I'm not sure if they do healthy scratches in the NFL like they do in other sports, where even if a player's healthy, you can put them on the bench without having to use them a ton and stuff like that. Save them for the right moment and stuff like that. Like, how like the NHL has healthy scratches where you can actually
stay pat, Jose. Go ahead, Evan.
Like the reason why I asked that healthy scratch thing, does the NFL have, like, in their roster mechanism, do they have something called a healthy scratch like you see with the NHL, where even if the player's healthy, you can bench them because you feel that they're not going to perform well coming off an injury?
There is a healthy scratch, I think, because Claypool was a healthy scratch Thursday.
Yeah, for the last 2 weeks, he was a healthy scratch.
My backs are
A healthy
JT.
scratch just means you didn't activate them, or
Bianca,
you
what are
saved
you doing?
one of your 46
Come
slots.
on, touchdown.
On my backs are
Injured
JT.
reserve just means he won't take up one of your 53. You know what I mean? So he still has to take up one of your 53, but you don't have to make him one of your
Get
46
him.
game day.
Get him.
So Jeff's wondering, my backs are JT, Bijan, Kyron, and A-Chain. Between these four, who should I sit?
Man, all four have the arrow pointing up in terms of increased production. So this is actually a very tough question. And honestly, A-Chain to me is the wildest card of the four. With JT signing his new contract, I got to roll with JT. But then reports are that Bijan Robinson is going to take a greater share of the timeshare he had with Algiers. So Bijan Robinson's numbers are going to go up. And then again, there's an article out there now anybody can Google on Kyron Williams this week and how he's going to be flexed out more and be used more in the passing game, which just increases the running back's fantasy value. So, A-Chain has just been superb. A-Chain has been dynamic. A-Chain has been ultra productive. So it's hard to argue against A-Chain in this scenario. But for me, he's the one of the four most likely to fade to a nothing performance. Although against the New York Giants, that's so I don't know. It's a tougher question than it may seem like on paper.
Unless we make a shift and he's now the 1-2 guy and Mostert becomes the 3.
That is correct. But this is a tough one, man. All four of those running backs, if you this week project for increased usage. So Jeff, man, hey, get a cup of some Cockspur rum, mix in some Coca-Cola, take a couple swigs, sit back in your chair and roll a dice, man. I'm not calling that one, dude.
The past 4 weeks, who were the top performers in terms of besides taking away Christian McCaffrey? Besides him, who were the top 3 running back fantasy performers the past few weeks?
A-Chain's been in the mix for sure.
Yeah, and this is a question for one of my friends who does daily fantasy color, and his tournament allows you to get multiple, not multiple rosters, but for one roster you can get multiple players at that same position, and he's getting Bijan. For some reason his league has Bijan, the tournament that he's doing for daily fantasy it has Bijan price very low as a low bot per, what is the term you use, color? Low bot?
low owned.
Yeah, low owned, and the price on him is $100.
Who's that?
Bijan. For some reason in his tournament, the tournament he's joining this week has Bijan priced at between $100 to $350.
Well, I don't know how they price those players because that doesn't sound right. But
Daddy Dean, pleasure doing business with you, Daddy Dean. That's my man.
Yeah, big up
usually
Mr. Paul,
on most
CB83.
Now on most Tony, you've got 50,000 to work with, and the lowest priced players are usually like 2,500 or 3,000. You know what I mean?
My mistake. Yeah, my mistake. They have him at 2,500.
Right? Probably because he's, I don't know. You got to check out his game status and all that.
Hey, Daddy Dean, he did some wheeling and dealing, bro. He gave up JT. He gave up JT, got back collateral. Gave up A-Chain, got back collateral. He traded with me, got back collateral. Yeah, he got a stacked team now, bro.
Yeah, hey guys, there's 2 good Dolphin questions in the chat. that we could
Yeah,
talk
sure. Well, sure. I was thinking of getting to them if you wanted to shift to those regular football question, Dolphin football questions. Really quick.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it's even a fan. They're from fantasy perspective. Like Raphael Corte asks, how many touches do we all think A-Chain will get on Sunday?
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Give me just a second. I want to just shout out this super chat. Thank you, Stephen D, for the $5 donation. Says, I have Fields, Stroud, Stevenson, Gus, Warren, Chase, Amon, DJ Moore, London, Atwell,
Hawkinson.
offered McLachlan for. Do I accept? He was offered McLachlan. Do I accept for running back depth?
That's a weird one. I mean,
Hell no.
What's the deal for? I mean, because right now, Amon is out this week, so and he may be out for multiple weeks. Drake London has produced very little, so.
I think I think he was offered McLachlan. Are any of those guys worth trading for him for McLachlan? I think is what he's asking.
No.
If his wide receivers there are what Chase, Amon, DJ Moore. I mean, if you have 2 strong wide receivers in a 3 wide receiver setup, you can play around with the third guy a little bit. So you may want to. I mean, McLaughlin, as long as he's healthy, is going to be the guy in Denver for what it's worth. So if you think that production from that running back position is worth it, is better than a wide receiver 3, then it may be something that you can
right
you want to consider.
He's saying for Stroud didn't show up.
Yeah, Stroud has been really good this year for a rookie quarterback.
I just picked him up.
Yeah, are you in a 2 quarterback league or a standard 1 quarterback league? Because
No, I picked him up standard 1, but I had Hurts also, but I traded Hurts for some picks.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Well,
I'm like 1-3 right now, so I got to make moves.
But guys, what do you think about A-Chain? What do you think about A-Chain and his fantasy usage? I think
I honestly thought my original thought earlier this week was we were going to see a heavy dose of him this week.
Yeah, that's what I hope we do. I'm leaning in.
I love A-Chain.
I mean, he's already picked up that one.
So he wants Stroud. He wants Stroud, is what Steven's saying. He's in a 1 QB league, and his trade partner wants Stroud.
Oh, for Stroud. Okay.
Come on, touchdown, Oklahoma.
Who's his other quarterback if he gets rid of Stroud? Who's his other quarterback? Color? Did you get that part? Who's going to
no, I didn't.
Spot? Because he's getting back a running back, right? So he must have another quarterback in the wings waiting. I mean, it depends on who he's going to slide into QB1.
He offered Jay McLachlan.
Oh, okay.
For Stroud.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Stroud has had a really good start in the first quarter of the season. He's impressed everyone as a rookie with his command of that offense, right? He's not throwing a lot of turnovers, right?
And Steven says his other quarterback is Fields, so he's got Stroud and Fields. Should he trade Stroud for McLachlan?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I think what he's asking is, given the depth of players that he listed,
right?
Would it be okay to get rid of Stroud for McLachlan for some running back depth, given that he has Fields as his other quarterback?
You can never have enough.
We nailed it down.
Yeah, you can never have enough good starting running backs. So it is. I understand. You're trading your QB2 for a running back 1 production out of Denver. So if you look at it that way, then yeah, it makes sense in the immediate time being. But then you never know what happens down the line. If Fields is hurt, then you're gonna be crying. That you gave away Stroud. You know what I'm saying? So. Hey, if you want immediate success now, then yeah, I'm going for it. Because, with the rate of attrition for running backs, it's going to be something that you got to pay attention to for the entirety of a fantasy football season. You want to have running backs who are getting used, whose usage is up. So anytime you can get a running back 1, even though it may not be the flashy name, the guy you're used to, if he's getting the ball, he has a chance to score touchdowns and get steady usage. He's a lot more valuable when healthy. The problem is running backs don't stay healthy.
Yeah, try to get handcuffs too. A lot of handcuffs
Yeah,
are good run
handcuffs.
back.
Yeah, handcuffing is always good as well. And right now, McLaughlin is the guy in a semi-productive Denver offense. So he's worth a lot more than Jaleel McLaughlin walking on the street. Who's heard of Jaleel McLaughlin? You know what I'm saying? But he posits to be a guy who's going to put up numbers in the immediate time being, whereas your QB2 is sitting on the bench doing nothing, right? So I understand why you want to make that trade, but it is a risky one given the way Justin Fields plays football. With his running, he's always a candidate to, I need my backup quarterback to come in and give me points, So it's something you got to think about there. I don't envy your decision. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. But hey, why not?
Who does McLaughlin play for?
Denver.
I mean, they're averaging 24 points a game. Somebody's getting those points.
Yeah, and he's going to get his share. He's going to be in there.
And this was going to parlay to my answer to Daddy Dean had Addison or Waller at flex. Well, it all depends on what you think the Giants are going to produce this week, because it's likely any score they produce is going to either be Waller or Saquon.
Yeah.
But at the same time, they're averaging 11 points per game, while the Vikings, on the other hand, are averaging where are you at, Vikings? I'm getting there. They're averaging 22.5 a game.
Mm-hmm.
And Addison's been productive, so I don't know. I'd probably go with Addison there myself.
Yeah, I like Addison, and not just because I'm being a homer for the Dolphins, but because that New York Giants offensive game right now is all over the place, atrocious.
Mm-hmm. You have no idea what Waller may not even get a reception this week.
And this is the same Waller that killed us 2 years. It was 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, so we know who Waller is. I'm a big believer in his talent as a receiving tight end. He's a game changer there, right? But so far, New York hasn't figured out how to employ him in their attack. So,
but let me ask you this, KP: do you think that the Dolphins have fixed their issue covering tight ends on the defensive side?
Have tight ends burn us bad this year, though? Not really. I mean, so it's mostly come from wide receiver play, right? And our inability to stop the runs up the middle. So, we've got, who do we have? We got Deshaun Elliott coming back this week, right? It's strong safety position. Javon Holland, who are going to be the ones facing Waller in the pass game mostly.
Yeah,
right?
Phillips coming back, right?
Yep. So, and then again, this is a depressed New York Giants unit that's waiting to just be cleaned up. There's no way.
We're trying to get right on defense, so I mean that doesn't bode well for Darren Waller.
Yeah, I don't expect Waller to have a great game, and if he does,
then again, he could expose further problems with our defense and light it up for all we know. But it's more likely to be more of a definitive answer. You can expect Addison to get some decent production out at Minnesota week by week. I mean, there's no mitigating circumstances as to whether Kirk Cousins throws him the ball or not. He's been utilizing him quite a bit. So,
and it's a matchup against the Chiefs, right? Which is which calls for a big time passing.
Exactly. It's going to be a shootout likely, or maybe start slow for the Vikings and they creep back, and next thing you know, it's 32-30 at the end of the game. You know what I mean? So that's likely how those types of games go between interconference opponents that are, Chiefs are top notch. Vikings can get up for a game if they,
Hey, I want to shout out to Mr. Park, man. Thank you, Mr. Park, for reminding everybody in the chat to hit that like button.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Falk. I have been abdicating my duties of reminding everybody to like and share, subscribe. If you have not subscribed to the Finn's Tailgate, then you just ain't doing YouTube right. That's just all there is to it.
And hey, guys,
really quick, as far as Addison goes, remember this too. When you're always trying to choose between a tight end and a wide receiver, generally speaking, and this is only a rule of thumb, you're going to default to the wide receiver. They always have more potential of scoring and putting up yardages than even the best tight end. So there's that too, and there's also the fact that every single time a tight end is in a play that requires him to block, the wide receivers are in a play that give them just as much a chance to take a ball to the house as any other play. A wide receiver generally doesn't have to have two or three, a string of plays throughout a game where he's doing nothing but blocking. So, that gives a receiver an advantage over a tight end when you're projecting how many fantasy points they could accrue in a game. I'm always going to default to a wide receiver over a tight end.
And
there's obviously different situations. Mark Andrews with Lamar Jackson, obviously that's a different situation. Travis Kelce with the Chiefs is a different situation. But you're talking about the upper echelon, and Darren Waller is not that.
He's not that thus far. At the beginning of the season, we may have had a different discussion. But
Right.
with the attention that
earlier in his career, we might have had a different discussion.
Yeah, with the attention that Justin Jefferson gets in their Minnesota setup, Addison is always a legit threat to go 40 touchdown added on top. Even if he does
or just consistently get 15-yard pops from Cousins because Cousins is under pressure and can't find Jefferson. You know what I mean? Or something.
One 50-yard bomb with a touchdown on top is 12 points. So you got to think about it that way. Addison has, if he produces, he's going to produce big. Right. Oh, also,
right.
I want to let everybody know. Also, if you want to get your question seen at the top of the line, those super chats are the best way to do that.
Oh yeah, that's the easiest way for me not to overlook it.
Yeah,
I'm scrolling back to find any questions that came in. I don't want to leave anybody out, but the easiest, as Kahari said, the easiest way to get my attention is the colorful chat.
No, I love how I turn Tua's brother's game on and I see a pick six. I love it.
Oh man. Hey, does Colorado play today?
Yes, they play at 4:30, but no one can watch it because it's on the Pac-12 network.
Ah, okay. Okay. Who do they have?
Arizona State.
Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, again, Daddy Dean, you're likely to get if somebody were to say, who's going to get 1 point, Addison or Waller? Who would you take? And if your answer is that you can guarantee the 1 point from Addison, then pick Addison, because there's a reason that a person would think, oh, wide receiver is easily going to get a point. All he needs is one reception. The tight end might not get a reception the entire game, even if he is a star tight end. You know what I mean? So you're always going to default to the wide receiver if there's a question.
And there is
especially when you're talking about a tight end going to get up. I mean, look, I don't know. I know we don't have the greatest defense in the world, but we have to get right at some point, or we're just not going to get right.
Right. And at this point, there is no reason to expect Waller to do anything this week, as he's
That's the thing too.
He's done nothing.
The least amount of assumptions. Occam's razor. The least amount of. It is not an assumption to think that Addison is going to get some targets. It's a little more of an assumption to think that Waller will match those targets in production. So I would go with the least number of assumptions as well.
Now, Daddy D probably thinks we're Dolphin homers, right? Which is why.
Of course.
Yeah, but come on. This isn't a homer evaluation at this stage, man.
No, you're absolutely right. Even if a person thought it was because of that, they're right to think that, because the Giants at some point have to regress to the mean too and score more points than they have been.
Yeah,
and Waller's the kind of guy that would likely get those points. It's not an unfair question at all. I just pick another wide receiver and another tight end besides Mark Andrews or Travis Kelce, and I'm answering the same way. I'm just, without knowing the details of each game. In this case, I have the advantage in knowing sort of the matchups. But even without knowing the matchups, I'm always going to default to a wide receiver. It's just a rule of thumb because they generally produce more than the average tight end.
Right, and I like Addison this week. I might not pick him every week as a potential play in my flex, but in this particular Week 5 matchup, he's particularly juicy as a point impactful player.
Right.
People may even consider sliding him into their wide receiver 1, 2, or 3 slot with the intriguing matchup with the Chiefs this week. Big points are
Right.
going to be scored. Jefferson is an automatic attention magnet for every defense. So Addison is poised.
And of course, Addison, I've watched the guy play. He's a good receiver, and they are utilizing him. So if your question was between Waller and, let's say, Robbie Chosen, I'm going to say Waller.
Right.
You know, but when you're asking about a guy like Addison who has been getting production and does actually come through for Cousins when he needs to, he's likely to be a sure thing for some production.
Okay. Yeah.
Whereas Chosen may not get the ball at all. So I might go with Waller over Chosen there.
Yeah. Like, look at his second question here. He says Waller or Laporta at tight end. For me, the answer right now, based on what we've been discussing, is Laporta.
Yeah.
Laporta has factored into that Detroit offensive approach,
and their guy, what's his name, Howell, has been like, he actually sees the benefit of a guy like Laporta being an outlet for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now, Laporta hasn't had like a blowout all-star game with 2 touchdowns and 100 yards yet, but he's been consistently mixed in to their offense. And so,
right. And that being said, Kahari, I don't think Waller's had even an average game thus far this year.
Exactly. Waller's had 1 or 2 catches at the most, which is hugely disappointing.
Daniel Jones just is not utilizing. Then there's also the fact that, I saw Daniel Jones locate him last week and threw a terrible pass to him. So it's not like Waller's getting any help from his quarterback. You got Cousins versus Jones, if you're asking that. If both receivers, the tight end and the receiver, if both ball catchers were equal, I would still go with Addison because Kirk Cousins is a far better quarterback to locate his guy than Jones is.
Absolutely.
That's the other factor of it. And there again, when it comes to the Laporta thing, Sam Howell's probably better at locating his tight end than Daniel Jones is, despite being a younger player and whatever else.
Jared Goff. So,
what's that?
You meant Jared Goff in the Detroit.
No, Laporta isn't he Washington's tight end?
You said Sam Howell.
No, I thought Laporta's with Detroit, right?
No,
I thought it was Commanders tight end.
No, that's Logan.
Logan Thomas
is with Washington.
So then you're talking about Laporta. I don't know though, Kahari, because Waller's a tight end 1 in that case, and I guess Laporta is too. Yeah, and I'm trusting Goff. Same answer. I'm still trusting Goff over Daniel Jones.
Right.
To find his tight end,
Absolutely, yeah. Like I said, Laporta. I'm looking at Laporta's stats in his last couple of games. September 28th, he had 4 catches for 56 yards.
I think it's because they're both named Sam. I thought he was with Washington.
In September 24th, he had 8 catches for 84 yards, 1 touchdown. And in the first matchup on the 17th, he had 5 catches for 63 yards. So, Laporta is definitely in the mix. Right now, he has 22 receptions, 242 yards, and a touchdown. He is legitimate production. It may not be top tight end production, but it's production you can count on. He's going to have 4 to 5 catches, 60 to 70 yards on average.
So Waller would be the more volatile play because if Waller had a big game, it would be a big game. You see what I'm saying? But he goes from nothing to big game,
You could roll the dice on Waller if you want, or you could get the consistent points from Laporta is the way you want to look at it.
Exactly. And what you would be rolling the dice on is Daniel Jones getting right on us at Hard Rock. And just so y'all know, I'm sweating pretty good today. It's pretty warm. Like those rains finally cleared out, and it is pretty warm right now. It's going to be pretty warm tomorrow, too.
Yeah.
So buckle up.
We're going to go
for water, Crypto.
We're going fishing today, man. We're heading down to the Keys and some fishing tonight.
And flip side, speaking of fishing. Speaking of fishing, flip side, thank you so much for the $5 donation. Says, and you don't have to do flip sides around enough. We'll see your comments eventually, man. But anyway, thank you anyway. 12-team league.
He's a member of our league.
Yep. And he's asking about his other league, 12-team league, full PPR. Who would you play in the flex? Addison or Dobbs? And thanks. Man, that's a different one because Dobbs is a running back, right?
No. Romeo Dubes is the wide receiver.
Dubes, okay.
He
I'm
has
all
been,
pronouncing it wrong.
he has been wide receiver 1 while Watson was out in Green Bay. Jordan Love likes him a lot. He's been productive with Jordan Love.
Go.
But I mean, I don't know.
Ooh, that's a flip. To me, that almost seems like a coin flip right there.
It does, except that
No pun intended. Flip side.
This week, though, that Addison play is again very intriguing. This week, not talking about all season long, Flip, but this week is a week for Addison to have a huge game.
Yeah, because if the Vikings are going to make it a game with the Chiefs, it's likely going to be through a guy like Addison.
Yep. But hey, thanks for the question, Flip.
And there's the man roasting right now. Roasting like a hot dog, ain't you, Crypto?
Yeah, not quite. I'm inside the building now. I'm in Dolphin Mall. The currency connection.
You're at Hard Rock?
Yeah, I was up there and they bring me up.
I didn't realize that place was open during the week, man.
Fake money said y'all didn't bring him up. He was up there. Y'all forgot to bring him
Mall in West Dade, color. West
Dade.
Dolphin
Mall, the big mall. I thought he was talking about the Dolphin shop. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Dolphin Mall.
Yeah, Crypto.
Hey, what's up, KP? What's up, KP?
What's up, Fred? Hey, Crypto, don't be surprised we see some international celebrities in there, man.
Right, and you might want to put on your sunglasses, else you get slapped by somebody's boyfriend or something.
Yeah, Lionel Messi walking there. All the Brazilian soccer players be shopping there. All the people from the Caribbean be shopping there. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I don't have controls. Hey, Shake Money said he don't have controls on the phone. You got to bring him up.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Shake. I should have known that earlier. I'm sorry, Shake.
I think he's on his mobile phone.
Yeah, I forgot that you had it. Yeah, I forgot all about that, Shake. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn, Shake. Why you got to wear that ugly ass shirt, man?
Right. You see that?
Yeah, he offended you.
Is he wearing a Gator shirt in Dolphin Mall?
Oh,
that's bold.
He's actually wearing a Gator shirt in Dolphin Mall.
I thought you were a
friend.
That's just ugly.
That is bold, bro.
Dang, man.
That is real bold.
Hey, KP.
You're not going to make it out.
That's going to be the color of your shirt coming soon.
Yeah, let's see if you can make it out of Dolphin Mall.
Hey, one of y'all has to mute when the other one's talking. Your phones are too close to each other.
Hey, guys. Hey, we got somebody wearing Florida Gators colors at Dolphin Mall. All my folks from down south Miami. He's wearing Gator stuff at Dolphin Mall. Go get him, y'all.
Yeah, did you just hear that horn honk? That's what that was about. He's like, what? They were honking the horn, like, what the hell is this? Gator fan in the freak? Get out of here, bro.
Hey, listen, I'm native blood here, so they ain't gonna mess with me. I'm native.
They don't know that.
They know. They should know that I got the Cuban look. So they know.
You wearing the ribbon? Oh, you're wearing the ribbon today. Okay, all right. Long as you were wearing the ribbon.
Come on, if my beard was any thicker, I look like Fidel Castro. Of course, I got the Cuban look.
You'll be all right.
And what is that, Shake? Like, everybody was all anti-Fidel, but they all wear a beard just like him. What's up with that? It just became fashion, right? That was your way to fit into the culture. Like, don't look my way. I got the beard, man.
Everybody's wearing the beard.
Right. We got the beard. We got the beard over here. No problem. Move on. We got the beard. So the beard was like the ribbon.
Well, the beard predated Castro. Castro just iconicized it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, right. He made it into an icon. It's a national icon.
See, I thought Castro was trying to look like one of his czarist masters back in the motherland.
Yeah, maybe he wanted the
like Ivan the Terrible or somebody.
He wanted to be Stalin style.
Like, you ever see pictures of Ivan the Terrible? That's exactly what his beard looks like, man.
KP, you have to do the mustache with Stalin.
Yeah.
They was known for the stash with Kevin Hitler with the short stash.
There you go. Go with the Slavic look with the handlebar mustache. You know, little Scythian influence. You know.
Hey KP, what's the deal with this lemon chicken? They said it's lemon, but it don't have any lemon flavor. What's going on?
It's in the
You
mix.
see that?
That's a lemon
chicken. That's a lemon chicken. Well, it's not tasting like lemon.
I'd be taking it back.
Enjoy it.
And did they? By the way, Crypto, did they put a slice of lemon on the side as a garnishment? That's likely to be your responsibility to put the lemon on the lemon chicken.
Hey, they didn't even do that, color. Ironically, lemon chicken is a lemon.
Yeah, right. Exactly. They're like, we gave you a lemon chicken.
Hey, and depending on who you bought it from, Crypto, it may not be chicken at all. It may mean alligator. You may be eating some alligator.
Hence the name lemon chicken.
There might be some alligator meat, dude.
Right.
Man, KP.
It's a lemon of a chicken.
Hey, alligator meat tastes way better than ibis meat. I can tell you that.
Hey, oh yeah, alligator. Well, hey, alligator meat does have its appeal. Gators, being served up, fried.
Crypto's down in that mall. He's like, I ain't never seen so much pink and aquamarine in all my life.
Shake, that might be a good meal for you to take some fried gators.
You sure it's not iguana? I'm not eating iguana.
Well, that is a possibility as well, man. That is definitely a possibility.
Hey, but the best part is every merchant is singling out Crypto. Every merchant we pass by grabs Crypto. Here, smell this. Here, smell this.
I'm like the test tube guy. Everybody's sampling it. They stuck with me. You want to try this out?
Yeah. Yeah, man, that's a cool mall, man. A very cool mall, man. A lot of celebrity. Like I said, the celebrities that go to that mall, they're not there in celebrity mode. The celebrities legitimately go to that mall to like buy stuff, to like stock up, to take stuff home to wherever they are from.
Oh yeah, they stock up.
Yeah, like I've been every time I go to that mall, I see like Ronaldinho de Gaucho in that mall. I see like some Brazilian players, professional soccer players. There's always somebody in that mall doing some craziness,
So Daddy Dean with another $2 donation, appreciate it. Says I sit players against the Dolphins and they ball out. I know I got the same affliction. I got the same affliction, Daddy Dean. I get you, man. I always thought, one day I'm just gonna run a stack of our opponents again on a DFS lineup. That way, if we win, I'm happy. If we lose, I'm happy. Why don't people bet against? Here's the thing: I don't understand why people don't bet against their team. I know that's probably a controversial take, but think about it. If you win, you're happy because your team won. If your team loses, you're rich.
Right.
Like
it's a win-win situation.
Exactly. Why would you not bet against your own team?
Now, hey, Mr. Paul has a great idea. He's saying the lemon chicken should be the peacocks that we got running all over this goddamn place. I agree. I hate those goddamn birds, man.
The peacocks.
Yeah, you got peacocks all over the place. We got peacock monkeys. We got every goddamn thing down here, man.
I think it's illegal to eat a peacock. Just saying.
Well, they're lucky that the law's in their favor.
Is it endangered species in Florida or something?
They're an endangered species. They're not protected. But they are just some nasty, mean birds in general. They will stand on your car, take a crap. They eat your cat food or dog food if you put it out on the porch. They are, they're not good birds, man. They're not nice animals.
So you saying they like
Is that you pecking at my sweet basil plant?
They probably got all your basil.
I wish hey, Fred says eat the peacock. That's what I'm saying. I wish that could. We used to have these peacocks in our neighborhood, man, and I used to talk to the goddamn thing. I'd be like, man, listen, it's almost Thanksgiving, buddy. Hey, be around here in November. We'll see what. But man, that motherfucker, he didn't want to listen. He kept on shitting on my porch, man. God damn it, peacocks! I hate
So you
them.
saying they like pigeons?
They're worse, man, because they're big as hell.
Yeah, they're like the size of a tricycle.
Yeah, they're like mini ostriches with colors.
Man. So it's actually the male peacock that has the big spread, right? The female ones look real simple,
Right,
like a
right.
quail.
You're right. They kind of look like blue turkeys until they spread their tail.
Right. Yep. Yep. They look like a blue turkey.
That is actually a great idea, though, Fred.
They probably taste like turkey too.
That would be the perfect offering of Pollo Tropical.
They probably have them for Thanksgiving around here.
Have you ever been to Pollo Tropical, Crypto?
No. Where's that at?
It's a fast food joint in Miami, all over the place.
Yeah, all over South Florida.
Yeah, you got to go to Pollo Tropical, man.
It literally means tropical chicken.
Okay, tropical chicken?
Yeah, Pollo Tropical. Oh, yeah, Pollo Tropical. Chicken on the grill.
You never tasted chicken this good.
And you have it. It is pretty good chicken.
Yeah.
What about Mary's? Y'all heard of Mary's in downtown Miami and South Beach? A place called Mary's.
No, not Marie's Patties, the Jamaican place.
Somebody told me who I work with said, go check out Mary's when you get down there. He said it's on South Beach.
Well, South Beach is a whole different animal, Crypto. That's not really Miami. That's
Did they have any La Brazas down there in 305, Corey?
Yeah, we got La Brazas. That's what
that's Peruvian. That's Peruvian food. It's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of their style thing, but yeah, they're all over the place.
They got this freaking a spicy garlic sauce, that dipping sauce that's like, yo, like seriously, don't put it this way. I dab my fork in it and just get like as if I pricked somebody's skin with my fork. Like that's all the amount of sauce I got on my fork, right? Just dab it right in. And I can stir it throughout my whole pile of rice and still be on fire.
Oh yeah, well see when you go to Pollo Tropical, Crypto, what you gotta get the mustard. You gotta get the honey mustard. What's the sauce called? The curry mustard. Curry mustard. And you put it on your rice.
Got a curry mustard there? Oh my god.
And you put it on your rice and beans, or black beans and rice. You mix it in. Then now you talk. Curry mustard, or I forget what guava barbecue sauce. Guava barbecue
sauce. Somebody popped a Scotch bonnet in that freaking sauce, man.
Yeah, man, it's good food, man. It's different than Baltimore too. I mean, coming from Baltimore, DC, when I go up there, man, that Old Bay seasoning is just so boring and dry.
So cooking with a Scotch bonnet, I hear from my Jamaican friends, I hear it's like it's sort of like cooking a puffer fish. Like as long as you devein it properly, you're not gonna die. You know, same with a Scotch bonnet. As long as that pepper don't break, you'll be all right.
Yeah, you're right, Courtside. I need to get a pit bull and a peacock. Yeah.
Like you're not supposed to let the Scotch bonnet like break its skin in your stew or your chili because that'll like ruin it. It's so hot it'll ruin it. Like you're supposed to make sure the Scotch bonnet stays intact.
Well, Color, you know about the one chip challenge, right? The one chip challenge.
Yeah.
What's the one chip challenge?
Well, it's a potato chip that takes the Scotch bonnet. Yeah, it takes the Scotch bonnet and the Reaper. And the Reaper. What do you call the Reaper pepper?
So you eat the whole chip, you get the whole bag of grease.
That's crazy stuff, man.
People have
Like,
died.
why would somebody do that to themselves?
People have died.
No, I don't get the idea of a challenge if you can't get the whole bag for free if you eat one.
Yeah,
The
well,
whole bag you get for free, huh? They're that hard up for $4.99. I give them $5, man. God,
it ain't nacho cheese. Tell you
That's
that.
what I'm saying. If I could eat one and demonstrate I could eat one in 5 minutes, then I should be able to get the whole bag.
they better be giving me the company.
It's super concentrated.
Is it hot?
Yeah, they make 21.
By the way, ladies.
Oh, wow.
By the way, ladies,
Okay.
forget your mace and your pepper
I'm about
spray.
to
Just
try.
carry a bag of chips with you and just shove a bunch of them chips in somebody's eyes.
Right. That'll do it. Tell it to
Hell,
shove
just
it
you don't
in
even
the
have to.
eye.
You don't have to put the chips in their eyes. Just just reach over, open the bag of chips, crunch them up in your hands so your hands are full of that freaking dust, and just smash it all over the guy's face. You know what I mean?
Hey, color.
Because that's literally what pepper spray is.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Those are the ingredients. But hey, color, we do have a fantasy question here from Ben Win 02.
All right.
We got one fantasy question.
Is this this one right here?
Ben Gwyn 02 YT. Yeah, there it is. There it is. All right, Ben. Sorry we missed it. Let's get to it. He says 10 PPR league. Should I trade Eckler for JT Henry and James Cook?
So I think he's saying either JT or Henry plus James Cook.
Because if it's an and, then hell yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I think the and is just for the James Cook. So in other words, either of those two guys paired with James Cook.
What's the deal?
I probably would do that.
Yeah, I mean, I would do it for the first two guys. I don't know about
because look, even if Jonathan Taylor don't play for the Colts, contract or not, and still gets traded, he's still going to be a value to you, whoever he gets traded to.
Yeah, he's going to be running back number one no matter where he goes, and automatically.
By the way, I said that because people are all jumping up for joy and all that probably in Indy, and it's like, no, just because all they did was the same thing we did by signing Tua's 55-year option. We definitively declared the value of the person's contract. If that's the contract we were going to give him anyway, or if we were going to give him more, what's the difference? They'll just trade the contract to us if he don't want to play there. So, I mean, I'm not trying to reach here. I think the guy is probably likely. I think Lamar Jackson does, and he probably never intended to leave Indy. That's my real thought. But if there is still animosity and he don't want to play there, then he could still be traded. This contract signing means nothing.
Who's got Derrick Henry?
Well, yeah, he has the opportunity to trade Eckler for Henry. And say what you want about Derrick Henry, he's about as certain as the sunrise.
He's surging right, and he's getting back on his game right now while Eckler is falling off his.
Right, and we don't know what's going on with Eckler in terms of his injury and why he was out so long.
He's making a resurgence right now.
Yeah, I would definitely, for the first two guys, I make that deal in a heartbeat. Now for James Cook. Now James Cook is an interesting quantity out in Buffalo. He's shown that he's matured as a player, but is he an every down back? Is he somebody you can depend on week in, week out in that Buffalo setup? I don't know if we have I
kept them. I traded away CD Lamb.
Yeah. I still think Eckler is more valuable than James Cook at this stage. So I don't know.
Yeah, probably and likely because they intend to get back on track. And
though I understand why you include him in that evaluation, it is maybe in a couple weeks, maybe we make that trade more likely. But
So Raphael says, KP, get a pit bull and Peacock be best friends.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he's trying to say the Peacock will be your best friend if you get a pit bull.
Yeah. Well, luckily, man, I think Animal Control.
They could be best friends.
Animal Control came and took care of the peacocks. They took them out of our neighborhood, thank God. But they were scratching up people's cars, man. They were making all kind of mess, man. They take huge dumps. Birds usually you don't see their crap anywhere, but peacocks shit like human beings, man. They're really nasty things, man.
So they're like the goats of the bird world. You're saying because a goat will do that too. A goat will jump right up on top of your car and crap all over it, man.
Yeah, that's exactly what a peacock do, and scratch your car.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Yeah,
like
exactly.
pigeon.
And dent it,
pigeon
and it
man.
looks like Cocoa Puffs coming out their ass too. It's like dumps all over your car. It's like what? And you know what? You can punch a goat right in the forehead, and they'll just stand there and look at you like, "What the hell did you do that for?"
well, that's the thing. See,
That's
peacocks are
what
so
raccoons
big.
do, Carlos. Raccoons are the same way.
I've seen people go at peacocks with like a broom, try to hit the peacock with a broom, and the peacock will just like attack the person back. They're not scared.
My broom is bigger than yours. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
So peacocks really, I really have.
Right.
These Egyptian geese are kind of like that too, bro. These guys are, man. The alpha male of this flock over here where I live, man, is just absolute. Like he's a champ, man.
He's territorial.
He really is. Oh yeah, right? And they mate for life. They mate for life. So him and his girl like kind of chill on the canal bank right here, and they own all of the land around here when it comes to the other Egyptian geese, right? And he spends his day just chasing the other ones off. They'll even form a circle over here on this other lawn across the street, and they'll have like they'll one by one challenge him, like you know what I mean, like gladiator style. And I'm like, whoa! And he'll march back to his old lady after running them all off. And the funny thing is, when he sees them encroaching on his territory, he doesn't fly over to them to run them off. He marches over there with a strut. And then chases them off.
Those are his wives.
Right. And then he struts right back over here. One night he did that, strutted back over, looked at his wife and was like, then he ran up on her like he was going to run her off. She stayed there, bowed down, and he did the panky right there. Right after running off all the other geese. And then after he was done, he stood there next to her and it was just honking like over their direction. It was the funniest thing I ever seen in my life, man.
Hey, I think Fred's trying to get back up.
Yeah, they territorial.
Oh, I'm sorry, Fred.
I can't bring him up. I don't know how to do that.
Looks like they territorial.
And they raise their children all the way till flight. And they follow them everywhere. Like that's why, like, you know how these ducks that are around here, you'll see they'll have like they'll have a little a bunch of ducklings, right? And then one by one over the weeks they're disappear because of either gators or largemouth bass or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not these geese, man. They keep account of every single one, and every single one survives all the way through, man, because of that alpha male and his old lady. She does the job. She chases them off too.
I hate them damn geese.
They chase the iguanas. They chase any other bird that gets near their children, or even on his territory. It's a really magnificent bird. I had no idea they were like that.
Yeah. Fred,
and I think they're invasive. Go ahead, Fred. That's what Fred's about to say. These invasive motherfuckers. I hate them geese.
No, Carla, I wasn't gonna quite go there, man. But
what's up, Fred?
you know, man.
Oh
yeah, hey Fred.
It's funny. I learned all that on my own without having to watch a documentary. I've been watching it play out over the last 9 months.
No worries, Fred.
There's some beers here. I can pick up some beers here for you if you want, Fred.
Yeah, Fred, it's okay to talk freely. It's safe space. Lewis ain't around, so it's all good.
Oh man, okay, man. Hey KP, you know, I just been sitting back kind of in my head about this game tomorrow, man. You know, so I'm thinking like, you know, these Giants they're no doubtly going to try to do the same thing the Bills did with jam the wide receivers, man, and you know, to a point, to a certain point, I think they may be successful with that until McDaniel, you know, comes up with some play calling that has to get them out of that. But you know, then I'm thinking about, well, what's Fangio going to do to slow down the Giants. Because of there's not really serious pass rush coming from us, and with their offensive line being real weak. However, they may just be good enough to give him time against our front four. So, like, being said, I'm looking at the Giants coming in with a game plan to really mess with our heads. But what are we going to be doing to really take it down, to shut the Giants down, man? You understand what I mean, KP?
No, hey, I feel you. And if we're being totally objective, then yeah, we definitely have to look and be concerned from the exact points that their ability to replicate what the Bills have shown, right?
Yeah.
My thing is, do they have the personnel to get that done? Number one, and then number two, how will McDaniel and our coaching staff recover from last week and make the necessary corrections to make those efforts by the defense less effective? In my mind, that played into why we even entertained trading for Chase Claypool, because in my mind, he is an answer to that kind of physical attempt to jam receivers. Ain't nobody jamming 6 foot. Now, is there enough time to work him into the offense with at least a limited package? Because if so, I could see him dominating the seams or even dominating outside, whatever.
Right.
I think they got Adoree Jenkins outside, right, as one of their quarterbacks. I don't know who the other quarterback is, but physically they should not be able to match up to a guy like Claypool. And then, if they let a Waddle or Hill loose, and if they do not jam either of those guys, it's to the house.
Right. I understand that, KP, and another thing I was in my head about, of course, Waddle and Tyreek they're great wide receivers, man. However, you combat that speed by making it hard for it to get up to. You know what I mean? Hitting it before it gets started. Okay, like, do you see maybe in some point, man, where we may have to go to bigger wide receivers, man, to be able to even get off the line and get the offense, going. You know what I mean, KP?
Yeah, no. Well, I think that's the thinking that went into signing Claypool. That's an element that he brings with him, just in a one-man package. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So, do you think McDaniel would ever come up off of that, man? Maybe he has to go to some different wide receivers, man. You think he'll ever come off of his high horse and implement these bigger wide receivers?
Well, I mean, yeah, we've been mixing in a rotation of receivers anyway, right? I mean, right now we have a problem with Craig Kraft and Easy being out of the rotation. So we really only have midgets and Cedric Wilson, right? Well, Hill, Waddle, Berrios, and then we got Chosen and Wilson in the stable right now. So, I don't listen. It was a 1 week event.
They got the good top frame color. They got it already framed for you.
And also, you don't want to overreact to 1 week or to one loss either.
Right.
Like I said, again, I don't know if the Giants have the personnel to do what Buffalo did to us.
Okay.
Now, if we flip it on the other side of the ball, right? We do have Jalen Phillips coming back supposedly, right? And then I am looking for our defensive line to be angry and salty about their underperformance thus far. And like I said, this is why this Week 5 matchup for me is a chance for us to right some of those wrongs of the first 4 games. I'm looking for our defensive line to be hungry and active and really get after that beleaguered New York Giants offensive line.
That's well said. Also, I want to point out, Fred, that Claypool, we had to do something. We had to do something at least because at the very least, 2 of our receivers are injured, and one of those receivers provides a lot of skill for us at the blocking aspect. And I suspect that's why we ended up finding, and taking advantage of a situation like Claypool, because he is a really big body receiver, and
Yeah, color.
it's likely that we wanted to shore up that aspect of what Craycraft provided for us.
Right.
On the other token, there is also the fact that regardless of whether he believes in himself and is ready to play or not and ready to go, Tyreek Hill is nursing a bit of a banged up knee. So, we had to do something in that regard. And I would look forward to Mike McDaniel taking advantage of that big body receiver, let's say in the red zone, bro. Because if somebody like Claypool catches the ball at the 2-yard line, he's going in the end zone. You know what I mean?
Right. Okay, color. With that, man,
I just wanted to get to this fantasy question real quick before it went too long. Parker Carson says, "I'm struggling making my lineup decision for this week, and I need some help. Choose 3 in full PPR: Montgomery, Madison, Taylor, Stevenson, Nico Collins." I'm assuming Jonathan Taylor.
Who's Montgomery?
David Montgomery, I would imagine.
Oh, right. Detroit's guy. Okay, yeah. From the Bears.
Not Ty Montgomery.
Exactly. I was at a loss for that. Yeah. Let's see. Who does Detroit have again this week?
AKP.
What's up, Clifton?
You want me to pick up your nice saxophone? There's one for you right there to get your blues going. You got your jazz, and blues
All right,
going.
but they're going to copyright us, dude.
KP.
So they're going to copyright us. So you got to probably turn it down.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah.
Hey man, Braxton Cook from your way, Crypto. I don't know if you know about him. Braxton Cook from that DC area.
Fred, did your violin so you can sing yourself a sad song?
Best guys around these days. But yeah, I don't know. Going to Parker's question though.
Show Fred the violin so he can.
Why do all these fantasy football questions have to be so damn tough, man? But he needs 3 of these guys, right? Listen, I like Nico Collins. Nico Collins has been a surprising, pleasant shock to me this season with his fantasy relevance from outside. So I put Nico Collins in my 3, right? In addition to that, I got Jonathan Taylor, fresh off a new contract, week 1, fresh. I got Jonathan Taylor in my second one. And then I got to go with Montgomery. So Montgomery, Taylor, and Collins is how I'm rolling this week. And again, I like Montgomery. Montgomery, minus his little injury snafu a couple weeks back, has shown that he is going to be productive in that Detroit system as a every down 4 to 5, 6-yard guy who will, and in the red zone, he's their running back 1 in their red zone as well. So you got to have Montgomery as long as he's healthy out there. Jonathan Taylor, I've already said it a couple times today. He's a top 3 running back in this league. If he's fresh and ready to rock, he's got to be in there. And then, Madison had a good game last week, right? Under the pressure of bringing in Cam Akers. I don't know how much Cam Akers is going to get filtered into that Minnesota team this week, right? So that's what I'm thinking about with Madison. He may have a regression in his share. And up until last week, he hadn't shown much, right? So he's under pressure. And then same thing with Stevenson in New England. Hasn't done much. Ezekiel Elliott is barking for more carries over there as well. So my 3, Parker, I don't know if you agree, is Montgomery, Taylor, and Collins. I'm rolling with that 3 this week. So I don't know if that helps you or not, Parker, but that's.
Hey, Fred, can you just either mute when you're not talking or turn down the music in the background, bro? We're gonna get copyrighted for that. I know YouTube's a bunch of buttholes. Is he not able to hear me?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Mr. Park, Crazy Dolphin. Yeah, I don't. The thing is with Claypool, I don't know if McDaniel would have had enough time to create a Claypool package of plays. Especially this week, maybe in the future. But I'm definitely intrigued to see what Claypool can do in concert with our other options. And I think there is definitely an avenue for Claypool to have a defined, productive role. I mean, he helps make our offense more scary if he is peaked and ready to perform at the top of his talent, for sure. Claypool, you cannot deny his talent. And you add him to this mix with his size, what he brings, it could be, the prospects are exciting. As far as this week, I don't know if it's a little bit too early to see a Claypool package, though, of plays.
I'm kind of feeling that way about Jonathan Taylor too, man.
That's true, but at a running back, though,
I know, and they do have he has been practicing, and and they do have a big divisional matchup. So,
yeah. I mean, I see C. Hoffel here says that Claypool is booty, and I would agree. His last 2 years have, really cast that shadow on him.
Oh, sure.
But as far as a numbers prospect, size, speed, and pass performance, there's got to be a space for Claypool to have a rebound if it's going to happen.
And here's the thing: if he had been available at the beginning of the season, and you asked me, who do I want to take? Hey, we got to add a guy to our team. Claypool or Chosen? I'm taking Claypool all day long, man.
Yeah, younger, bigger, faster, So
and for any of his faults, I mean, the fans practically had to beg for them to bring Chosen back.
Yeah, but hey, I feel you, C. Hoffel. He has been booty. If you look at the last 2 years, he has been ass, stinky ass. You know what I'm saying? But hopefully we got the right toilet paper. Hopefully we have the duvet. The duvet.
The right potpourri.
Yeah, wash out the crumbs. We're in South Florida. We do things different down here. You know what I'm saying?
We just bathe him in some ocean water for a little while.
Some mineral salts. Some mineral salts. Get that guy right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Then again, nothing could change.
Yeah, he might continue to be rotten ass, and if so, you ship him off to the Everglades with the skunk ape, where he'll feel at home. Yeah, man. Well, Color, man, we've been at it for a while, bro. It's almost 2 o'clock. So I don't know if you're ready because, it is a Saturday. So if you're ready to shut this puppy down, man.
I am ready for you are, sir.
Yeah. I don't know if
I don't really plan to have this devolve into a regular TFTG panel. If everybody wants that, then we can fire that up later.
Yeah, but hey, it's been fun, guys. It's only week 5. And, we're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. I'm having a really good time with you guys. Thank you for all the questions and comments, the super chats. You guys are awesome. You're the reason why TFTG is what it is, man. And one love to all of you out there. Let's see what this week holds, Color. I'm anxious to sit down and get my football in tomorrow. And we'll see how this thing evolves going into week 6.
Right on, man. Right on. All right. That being said, everybody, fins up. Hit the like button. Any last words, Kahari? Crypto over at Dolphin Mall. He's got his hands.
Yeah, I'm here trying to play freaking Mozart on the freaking keyboard, and I'm screwing up the keys here.
You must be in a shop because you sound way better now.
Hey, Crypto.
What's up?
Any big booty Latinas walking around Dolphin Mall?
Oh yeah, it was some coming through every now and then.
Hey, don't go too crazy.
It was
now.
some coming through.
No, different area code. Different area codes.
Yeah, it was. They were coming through.
Crypto swivels around and says, "My word,
my Beethoven thing. I haven't played in a while on this keyboard, and I'm screwing up the keys." Okay, cool. I'm hacking away.
All right, Joey, you just tell me when to hit it, man. We'll chump these guys out.
Yeah, no
Take
doubt.
Money tried to get
Hey,
me.
have fun, crypto. Come join us whenever we fire it
All
up
right.
later on too. I think we got late night XL tonight.
We
One of
will.
us will run it, whether Ali's back or not. So there you go. That being said, fins up,
Okay.
everybody. Later,
Heads
Kahari.
up,
Thanks a lot,
Fins
sir.
up, everybody.
heads up.